Good evening and welcome to the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima for tonight's game between the visiting Bishop Kearney Kings and the home Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars. We have playoff football. Steve Bradley alongside me, Peter Carosa. Happy Halloween weekend. First round of sectionals between the, as I said, Kings and the Cougars.
Right, Peter, the HFL comes into this game with a 6-0 record, 7-0 record, and seated first in Class B for Section 5. Bishop Kearney comes in at 0-6. They are the number 8 seed. These teams just met like 29 days ago. It seems like the last time we were here, it was a bright, sunny homecoming Saturday afternoon, which is a far cry from what we've got tonight.
Yeah, you said it, Steve. We got a rainy one tonight. As bear with us here, we're having some technical difficulties. A bit crowded press box tonight, more crowded than normal given the weather. We're actually facing the soccer field here at HFL, where we got a monitor set up, a real nice setup here in the press box, staying dry. So bear with us here. We actually cannot see the field for ourselves, so we're relying on our camera work tonight, which I have full confidence in, and it's going to be an exciting game. Like we said, we got a big playoff game here tonight. So let's talk about the keys for tonight. The keys brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Tonight's keys, starting with the first one, is strike first. You know, we talked about these two teams already meeting once before. In the first game, it was a bit of a runaway for HFL. So the key for the Cougars, if they want to win again tonight, is probably strike early and often. And for the Kings, if you're gonna upset this HFL team, you're gonna have to try and get on the board early and force HFL to play from behind, something they're not used to doing.
They haven't done it much, and I think Coach Russ wants to just come right out with HFL and set the tone. And the longer you let an underdog hang around, the more confident they get, and that is something that definitely the Cougars want to avoid, is just set the tone and establish themselves as a superior team early. Our second key, Peter, is to just stay the course. Coach John Russ of HFL has talked all season long about his team just trying to get better every day. It's not so much focused on the result of an individual game or an individual quarter, but more about getting better so that the team builds towards the playoffs and they're better the next week than they were the week before. So HFL may not be pushed to the limit here tonight, but they should be pushing themselves just to make sure that they're getting maximum effort and attitude out of their opportunity here.
So that is tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Actually, we have one more. You can see we got quite a monsoon here tonight. So rain, go away. Both these teams going to have to play in some adverse conditions here tonight. Certainly going to be an interesting matchup given the weather. Certainly going to impact, I would expect, the passing game.
I think so. I think Zach Meacham has been doing a great job on the ground. Coach John Russ actually nicknamed his running backs Thunder and Lightning with Zach Meacham and Donnell Hall. I don't think we want either of those in the sky tonight, but HFL wants plenty of that on the field. And if they can control the line of scrimmage and do that, they'll keep the ball on the ground maybe more than we're used to seeing. I did see Coach Rick Goss of Bishop Kearney right as they got off the bus, and he was wondering maybe the rain could be an equalizer, maybe get turnovers and maybe limit the HFL passing game a little bit. So that'll be something that we'll have to track throughout.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to both the coaches before tonight's game. This has been common weather this past week, and it was interesting to hear how both the teams prepared for this sort of weather. It was Bishop Kearney who was out there in the rain, in the elements, kind of prepping, thinking that, hey, this weather could be a factor. In fact, Coach Rick Goss told us, he said, quote,
we could be playing in something like this. Weather like this could alter the game. I told them let's learn it and try it and take advantage of it. So, pretty strong message.
Yes, and then on the flip side, HFL, that real bad storm we had Tuesday night, they were inside. They did a film session. They didn't go out in the elements just because they didn't want to waste their time dropping the ball, fumbling the snap. And let's see if it plays an impact not having that experience. Granted, I imagine that they have played or practiced rather in the rain, and they had to deal with some rain earlier in the season. So certainly not a dome team by any means, so to speak. But
right, but we're getting close to November playoff weather, and if teams want to achieve their ultimate goals, they need to be able to play in every condition. So this should test each of these teams to see how they can handle the adversity.
So the visiting Bishop Kearney Kings, they're a combined team, of course, with Rochester Prep and Rochester Charter Academy. They were just announced here at James Dollard Athletic Stadium. Now we'll have the home team. The HFL Cougars come out, run through what's left of a paper banner there in this rain, and they'll come out to midfield.
And one thing to note, too, is tonight is HFL senior night. Because their final home game in the regular season with Geneva was canceled, they honored 17 seniors prior to tonight's game. There's always a little bit extra emotion there with senior night, and very nice that they're able to do that. That's not something that's common before sectional games.
Yeah, we do want to apologize. I know we made an effort to try and capture those moments before the broadcast, but just given the elements and everything that went into tonight's broadcast, we weren't able to capture those moments. So, like you said, it was awesome to see all the seniors out there and hear their names called and where they're going and what their plans are, as we are going to have the national anthem sung here at HFL. We'll be playing a recorded version.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And so with that, we are ready for the coin toss here at HFL. You can see the clock at quadruple zero up on the screen. So that means that we're ready for the coin flip. Steve, I think it's a bit of a foregone conclusion that if Bishop Kearney wins the toss, they're going to want the ball first and they're going to want to score.
I think both teams will do that, and it's about coming out and sending a message, which we had in the keys. And great conversation last night with Kearney coach Rick Gauze, basically talking about playing with house money, that he knows that his team comes into this game as an underdog and that this season has been long and trying for them. So he's focusing on life lessons for his team and, basically a why not us, go out and shock the world mentality. So maybe we'll see the Kings take some chances on offense, maybe some gadget plays too. I think that pretty much everything's on the table because they don't have anything to lose.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. If we see any gadget plays or anything different as we have the captains come out here. It looks like we have Mitchell Bowling and Zach Meacham for HFL. For the Kings, we have number 5. That is Kobe Covington. Number 12, Rashawn Beeson. Number 78, Raquan Pryor. And number 8,
yes,
Trevor
8.
Bahan.
So, yeah. So, coin toss, especially field position too tonight, Peter. With the conditions, I think that, getting a short field and ball security. We've seen Bishop Kearney twice this calendar year ball security and penalties have been a little bit of an issue. HFL actually had a block punt that was returned for a touchdown in that October 2nd game that they won 35-6. So, all of those things that go into a normal football game are magnified a little bit because of the conditions tonight and also because it's a playoff game. So all the attention to detail and little things matter. And HFL wins the toss and elects to receive. No defer tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, them starting with the ball. Of course, this kickoff that's coming up brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form today.
And one thing, too, to watch tonight is HFL senior running back Zach Meacham comes into the game, Peter, with 860 yards on 96 carries this year, 8.8 per and 8 touchdowns. I would not be surprised that if he makes a run at a 1,000-yard plateau tonight, needing about 140 yards. And I'll do my best to track that throughout the game.
And before this game starts, we do have to apologize. We do have an issue with our scoreboard we're trying to work through. The first and down is just going to be without an ampersand. So I think it got caught in the rain tonight, didn't make it to the stadium. So we will have the first, the down and distance, but without that ampersand.
So, yep, but we'll be as accurate as possible. We'll track it as well as we can. And as always, we just want to provide the best viewing and streaming experience for the people that have been so loyal to us and given us great feedback in both this spring and this fall.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and judging by the weather, we expect we might be joined by a couple extra friends tonight.
And you never know, the rain might help the ratings.
So number 1 for the Kings, this is Jamie Walker. He'll be kicking off for Bishop Kearney.
And if I'm the Cougars, I'm ready for anything here. I don't remember Kearney kicking deep a lot in the first game. We might be seeing that squib kick or the skid kick and maybe an attempt to get some of the quicker guys on the gunners downfield and cover it.
And off we go. Ground ball is going to be struggled to be fielded by the Cougars. They're going to jump on it. Look like number 33 for HFL. Hard to tell, but in any case, let's start with tonight's starting lineup, brought to you by Seagar and Shortino. Ben Carson, player to watch on offense. Here's his season stats: 4 touchdowns, leads the team in both receptions and receiving yards, and he's just been old reliable for Brody Young.
He has. He started the game with a big 2-touchdown game in the opener against Livonia, and Ben has been a guy that they've been able to go to in all situations.
And here's the offensive line, brought to you by Seagar and Shortino, as the first play is ready to go. We have trips to the near side, going to be a handoff to Meacham, and he's going to fall forward for a gain of 1 or 2 yards. And let's get the starting wide receivers in backfield for the Cougars. Here we go: JT Killenbeck, Aiden Gould, Nolan Smith, Brody Young, Zach Meacham. We just called his name. So I expect to have a lot of thunder and lightning tonight. Not weather, but the running backs we mentioned in the pregame.
Yeah, and a nice job there by the Kearney defense. Zach Meacham averaging close to 9 yards per carry. They held them to 2 right there, and that's a win at the line of scrimmage for the Kings up front.
So 2nd and 8, another handoff here to Meacham. He's going to get stood up and pushed over by Bishop Kearney. So again, or rather for the first time, Cougars going to be facing 3rd down. Here's a replay here, and you can just see good effort there, standing him up.
Yeah, very good penetration there by 76, Jakur Maxim. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 238 pounds. And Coach Gauze mentioned him as one of the players on defense to take a look at. He thinks that over the course of his career, he can emerge as one of the better players in Section 5.
So 3rd and 6 for HFL. Looks like we got a wildcat formation for the Cougars. Gould, the man in motion. It's going to be a keep. I believe this is Killenbeck. Killenbeck makes a couple men miss. He moves to the far side, working the sideline, going to be pushed out at about midfield. So that's a first down for HFL, brought to you by HFMP. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today.
Very good ball handling there by JT Killenbeck. Kind of gets caught in the wash in the middle of the field, and he's got that elusiveness, the quick feet, and he really made a lot of that play on his own. And we had talked in the pregame too to maybe look to JT for some big plays. He only has 1 touchdown on offense this year, and he's a player that can be a game changer. So Little creativity there. HFL gets the big play without putting the ball in the air. And it looks like Wildcat again. Here's Brody Young out to our side of the field.
Yeah, something we didn't expect. We knew that the ball was going to be ran a lot, as Gould is the man in motion again. This time he'll get the handoff on the jet sweep. He's going to be tackled in the backfield by number 4 for the Kings. That is Zuri Johnson, the defensive back, coming up to make the play.
Very nice job there by Johnson, just kind of holding his position. As you said, he read the play, kind of shed the tackler, moves in and hits him low, wraps around the ankles, and takes away a play that maybe was going to go for 5 yards or so and makes it a really no kind of play. It looks like we missed a penalty, though.
Yeah, there was a penalty against HFL, so this is going to be moving the ball back.
And and that's another thing that we talked about. I think in the first game, HFL was hurt itself a little bit, and they really want to be crisp tonight. And getting a holding penalty and backing you up 10 yards, not what they're looking for. 1st and 17.
So back in what we'll call a normal formation with Brody Young from the gun. Here's the handoff with the lead blocker, and he's going to get back some yardage.
Yeah, Meacham for maybe about 5 there. So far, though, the Kearney defense has done a good job. Zach Meacham really had his way the first time around. And Coach Russ talked to us, Peter, about the key of his offensive line tonight. In HFL's offensive line is a little bit undersized, was the term that was used. But so it's about footwork, technique, angles, and hands. And so far, there's been 3 or 4 nice plays by Kearney where they really haven't budged.
So 2nd and 12 for the Cougars, coming back in that double running back set. To the far side is Meacham. He's going to be tackled in the backfield. He'll lose 3 or 4 yards.
And there's that penetration again. Kearney doing a great job on defense so far. Looks like number
44. That's
44.
Chris Harris.
Yeah, great read there by Chris Harris in getting through the gap and wrapping up Zach Meacham. So interesting where HFL has had 6 plays so far. Peter has not put the ball in the air yet. This might be the first time, but I wonder if it might be something more conservative, maybe a screen or a quick hook, and have the one of the receivers try and make a play by breaking a tackle.
So it's going to be 3rd and 15 for HFL. Brody Young from the shotgun. Zach Meacham to his right. 4 receivers set. It is going to be a pass. Brody struggled with the snap, able to toss it into the ground, and I think they're going to say that that's a fumble. I didn't hear a whistle.
And number 78, Raekwon Pryor, was right in Brody Young's face there. I did see a late signal of incomplete. I do see the arm coming forward, but just a great defensive stance by Kearney, sending an opening message that they're not going to be pushed around tonight.
So HFL will have to punt. So back deep for the Cougars. This is number 21. That's Xavier Carbonell, the kicker and punter for the Cougars. He's going to have his heels at about the 34-yard line of his own territory. So HFL forced to punt on their first possession. Here's Carbonell's kick. Spiral. That's going to bounce at about the 25. It's then fielded by Bishop Kearney, number 1. That's Walker, and he's going to be dropped at about the 22-yard line.
And really an excellent punt there by Carbonell. He didn't get it up too high. It was kind of a low line drive kick into the rain. And when you get the net there, 16 and 28, 44 yards, I think the Cougars will take that, kind of flop the field position and give Kearney a chance to start, right around its 20 kind of average field position.
So the Cougars failed to strike first. That was one of our Bullfinch Fun keys to the game. Now Bishop Kearney will have the opportunity to score first as they find themselves inside their own territory. Number 11, quarterback for Kearney, that is Trevor Benjamin.
And it goes right there, inside handoff to Walker. I think Walker is going to be involved quite a bit tonight. Coach Gauze talked a lot about Tyler Benjamin, too, as a young player that does not have a lot of experience as a quarterback, but a lot of athleticism and a willingness to learn. We mentioned this the previous game, too. He's also the younger brother of Will Benjamin, who's a standout player at Aquinas. So good football players do run in his family.
So 2nd and 6 for the Kings. They come out in the same formation. And it's going to be another handoff to Walker. Walker to the near side. And he's going to fall, and I think he's got the first down. Yes, he is. He's going to be tripped up at about the 35-yard line. So a nice run there by the player that the Kings call Philly. He broke his ankle in 2 places against Batavia last spring. As the trainers attended to him, he turned to his coach and he said, I will be at practice on Monday. I don't care if I'm in crutches. I will be there. He's just the type of guy that you want to be playing for you.
Absolutely. He's a leader for this team, and he does it more with his actions than his words. He's a standout on defense. You'll see him hustling to make tackles, and really 2 great positive plays for the Kings. I noticed a great block there, too, by Jakir Maxim on that play.
And a pass over the middle is complete to number 7. That's T.J. Moorhead. That'll be another first down for Bishop Kearney. Moving the ball here.
Kings coming out sharp. Little fake handoff on the RPO, crossing route there for Moorhead. He was in between the defenders, and Bishop Kearney says, there's 12 yards, we'll take it, and trying to move down the field.
So 1st and 10, and it's going to be a handoff to Walker. Walker reverses field, and he's going to be tackled after a gain of 1.
Good penetration there by the HFL defense. That's really the first time they've gotten in the backfield, disrupted a play. And I think that it was maybe...
Looks like Meacham, who tried to get him in the backfield, but he was engaged with the lineman, and he just couldn't get a full range of motion on him. In any case, it brings up 2nd and 9 for Bishop Kearney.
And maybe it was Riley Kestner and Mitchell Bulling that finished him off. But a good play by the HFL defense, kind of rerouting Walker and making him go where he didn't necessarily want to go.
So here's the pass play, and it's going to be swatted at the line.
Jack Harvey, defensive end, came in, good pressure, got his hands up, knocked it away. So here we go with HFL after a couple quick first downs by Bishop Kearney. The defense is starting to step forward and make a couple plays, and now 3rd and long is where HFL wants Kearney to be, and Kearney does not want to be.
So after watching the film from the first meeting, it definitely was apparent that the slant route was something that was there throughout the game for the Kings. We'll have to see if maybe they dial that up. They got trips to the near side here.
And a really strange formation, Peter. Number 76, one of the offensive linemen, was split out to this side of the field. It looked like definitely that we could have had maybe one of those gadget plays coming. And that's Jakir Maxim again. And he's a sophomore. We've talked about how Coach Gauze is a big fan of him. And props to the Kearney offensive coaching for putting something in the book that made the Cougars stop and think. They didn't want to get burned for a big play early here, so they took the time out.
Yeah, good eye on spotting Maxim. 5'11", 238. Not an easy miss there on the near side. I must have missed it myself, though.
But that kind of a formation, maybe it's a screen pass and you want the big lineman out there just to try and get the little contact and spring him. But early in the game, first half timeouts, if you're confused, take it. Don't let something turn into a big play that doesn't need to. But again, great look there by Kearney. That was not something we saw the first time around.
Yeah, and I know we've already mentioned it a couple times, but the message to his team this week, Coach Rick Gauze said, this may be our last game. Let's finish this strong. We got nothing to lose. And that certainly could have been a gadget play as they come out, trips to the far side. It looks like all wide receivers on that far side. No offensive linemen bunched in there. 3rd and 9. We got some movement.
And one of the HFL linemen is calling it Kearney moving, but I just saw the official walking across the field. He pointed towards HFL, so I think that's going to – oh, no.
Nope, they're going to call it against Kearney.
And there we go. This probably, Peter, would be a good time to run through the officiating crew for us. The man in the white hat, our referee tonight, is Jeff Allen. Our umpire is Tony Perez. The head linesman is Michael Newcomb. Our line judge is Mike Falls-Lima. And our back judge, who was up here in the press box before the game, is Justin Matz. So 3rd and 14, into the rain. Those are the kind of plays that we have seen slow Bishop Kearney down before. And I would look for HFL to try and put pressure on Benjamin here and see if he's maybe – here we go again with maybe this is the play we're going to see before. We've got 76 out to our side. But put pressure on the Kings and see if maybe they can cause a turnover.
So Benjamin from the shotgun collects the snap, throws it over to to the middle. It's a screenplay to number 6, Tamir Mullins. He was tackled at about the line of scrimmage, so after all that trickery, it's going to be about a gain of 1 yard.
And I was just, if we're watching, it's a screen to the middle, but 76 was a decoy out there. He started doing jumping jacks. So we wondered why they were going to split the linemen out there. Just maybe to get a look, probably get the numbers shifted so they open up the middle of the field. Good job by the HFL defense by being patient, staying home, and giving up a short gain to get the ball back. And look how deep this punter is, Peter.
Yeah, this looks like number 13. I think it's Jalen Duval. Has a nice kick. HFL's going to field it eventually at about the 25-yard line, and they're going to get up to about the 35-yard line. That's JT Killenbeck. So the Cougars get the ball back.
Yep, gave up 2 first downs on that drive, the HFL defense, but really came forward when it needed to. Kearney didn't even get to midfield. And I think JT Killenbeck before tonight's over is going to be a factor. I've watching the tape the last few games. Even when he doesn't catch the punts in the air, he can pick up the ball and make something happen. We saw him with a touchdown during sectionals last year, and I think he's definitely a guy to watch, number 3. And we should talk about the end of that Batavia game, too, because he's already made some big plays on defense for the Cougars this year.
So offense back out on the field. Here's Meacham to the far side. He's got a couple of elite blockers, one man to beat, and he's going to go all the way. This is Zach Meacham in a rainstorm here at HFL. Cougars strike first, up 6-0.
So that's his 5th carry. The first 2 were...
Do have a flag. Hold on.
Oh, boy. 2-2-5, and then I had that at 66, but it's probably going to come back.
Looks like holding on the Cougars.
Wow, and that was just huge hole there for Zach Meacham. We expected a heavy dose of him today. Let's see if we maybe get an idea where the hold happened.
Looks like it might have been Nolan Smith on the far side there.
Downfield at about the 42-yard line. So it may have been a hold where they didn't even need it because Zach had he had an alley, he had a head of steam, and it looked like as soon as he started sweeping that way, we thought he was going to go. But boy, they're moving it back. They're moving it back 20 yards. That not only cost them a touchdown, it cost them a ton of field position. So that obviously a big play taken away.
It's going to be 1st and 24 for HFL after the touchdown is taken off the board. We'll have to see how the Cougars respond. They come out in a 3-receiver set, 2 running backs. It's going to be a handoff. This is Donnell Hall. He's going to be tackled at about the 24-yard line.
And that's number 44 again. That's Chris Harris making the play. Looked like the Cougars had something there. On a normal first down, you take that 5 yards and you're in plus territory. But being behind the chains like that, HFL is going to have to put a couple of good plays together or get a chunk here to get that first down.
And HFL is going to have to try and go back to passing the ball. Brody Young struggled on the 1 attempt he's had so far. It's Bishop Kearney that's been able to complete some passes here. 2nd and 22 for HFL. Going to be a handoff. This is Hall.
Might be killing.
Hall makes a man miss.
Yeah, no, Hall, you got it.
And he's still on his feet, getting a shove from his teammates, and he'll be just short of the 40-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and manageable.
And a great determined run there by Donnell Hall. He's usually the lightning part of Thunder and Lightning, but he showed a little bit of power. Nice block there by on number 4. Actually, 2 good blocks there by, I think it was Zach Meacham that got both of those blocks.
Pancaked someone and then had the wherewithal to get the next guy. So
and
he took out two blockers and then came back to help Don Hall fight for a couple extra yards. So it's 3rd and 5 after the massive penalty on first down.
And a good job there by the Cougars. Hall, too, showing that he's
Looks
not
like
going
we're back
down.
in Wildcat, too. Gould, the man in motion. It's going to be a keep, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield.
And
believe that's Killenbeck.
And
He
there's
might
a
have lost the
fumble,
ball.
too.
But I think he was able to recover his own fumble. So Cougars will have 4th and 9, and they'll be punting again.
Yeah, another good job by Kearney. Number 5, that's Colby Covington, got in there and disrupted the play right away. And the Wildcat look, that's the 3rd time tonight, and hasn't really broken the big play for the Cougars yet. I got to give Kearney a ton of credit as we get toward the 10-minute mark here in the first quarter. They're hanging in there. Other than that long play that there was a penalty on, Kearney has really had a strong accounting for itself.
So we have whistles here. Penalty flag. Might be too many men on the defense. Nope. It looked like he had to count twice there. It's Friday. It's the start of the weekend for everybody. No math on the weekends. That's my policy. And here's the punt. Deep kick. It's going to bounce at about the 35-yard line, take a Cougar roll inside the 30. Cougars are going to let this thing roll all the way to the 28-yard line. So Xavier Carbonell, who's been making some big plays, special teams for the Cougars this year, it's been actually PATs. They won 2 of their games on PATs, but that time it's a punt.
And Carson Joint got down there to cover that. He's the center. This is a second drive for BK, so we probably want to introduce our Cougar defenders as soon as we can here.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the defensive player to watch for HFL, and that's Carson Joint. He's had 2 interceptions on the season. He's a two-way starter, and he's been really the leader on this defense. Looking at the other starting lineup, brought to you by Seagar and Shoretino, as we'll come back for the rest of the starters after this play. Going to be 1st and 10 for the Kings. From the shotgun, it's going to be a handoff. I believe that's number 12, Rashawn Beeson, and he's going to be immediately met and pushed back.
So the Cougar defense, Mitchell Bulling was right there. Here's a look at the linebackers and defensive back. Ryan Gary, we've talked a lot about outside linebacker. Then Donnell Hall, Andrew Wazenreed, JT Killenbeck, and Aiden Gould. A lot of names we've heard before, and this defense has been pretty stout, Peter.
One new face being Andrew Wazenreed. He's in for Colton Miller, who was doubtful before the start of the game with a ankle injury. He didn't play last week either. So
here's another one of those gimmick formations with both the tackles are split out wide. There's one on each side. 76 is to our side of the field, and number 78, Raekwon Pryor, is to the other side.
And again, they go to the opposite field of that.
That looks like a lateral, Peter. I think they're going to mark that ball where it was, and it looked like they could have been setting up for a double pass or something there. If that's ruled a forward pass, that's a break for Kearney. I thought that ball may have gone backwards, or at least sideways.
And it looks like they are going to mark it incomplete. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for Bishop Kearney. Just over a minute to play in this first quarter. We're scoreless here at HFL. Quarterfinal round of the Section 5 Class B playoffs. As Kearney facing a 3rd and 10. Here's Benjamin from the gun. He's going to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Makes a man miss. And he's going to overthrow his receiver, who's looking for number 12, Rashawn Beeson, but he overthrew him.
And I think that may be a break there for Kearney, because when you throw high and deep over the middle, a lot of times that can result in a turnover. Young quarterback trying to make a play, but that ball, fortunate for the Kings that it landed safely on the turf.
And in that October 2nd meeting between these two teams, the Kings did throw 2 interceptions. So we have a punt here, and
I think they're a man short too, which they had. I only counted 10 real quickly, but great job by the punter to get a good roll there, and rolls down to the HFL 32. Walker is kind of politicking the official there for it to be Kearney ball. He thought that maybe Killenbeck had touched it, but he didn't. Almost like the Thursday night game last night with the Cardinals, where there was a play that set the Packers up right near the goal line.
So in any case, HFL has the football back. Now under a minute to go in the first quarter. Cougars did benefit from not enough men on the field during a punt during that October 2nd contest between the Kings and the Cougars that resulted in a touchdown.
And I wonder if now we're onto the third drive that HFL may be a little bit more aggressive in its play calling, because Kearney has been pretty good against the run.
Here's a pitch to Meacham. Meacham still on his feet. He dropped the ball. It's a loose ball. It looks like it's going to be recovered by the Kings, and yes, it is. A fumble is recovered by Bishop Kearney at midfield. Let's take another look at that.
And a pitch play to Meacham. He's got a nice hole to get through. Looks like he just lost it on the way down, but that was 78 who came in to maybe finish off the tackle. Raekwon Pryor. He's a big guy at 6'1", 252. kind of caught Zach from the side there and knocked the ball out.
So we do have an injury on the field here. So the trainers will attend to that. So certainly a big play here for the Kings to recover that fumble.
And if you're HFL, this is going to test your character a little bit. It's not the start that I think obviously they wanted and maybe didn't expect. And we're going to get here deep into the last minute of the first quarter with no score. And in the 2 prior games this calendar year, HFL has put up quick points on Kearney, and not tonight. And I think really the play of the line for Bishop Kearney has been maybe the most impressive to me in this first quarter. HFL just has not had those big holes and those gaps that we've seen them in the last few games. And all credit to the Kearney linemen. We've called 78 and 76 their names several times, and they're right in the middle of kind of this disruption that we're seeing.
Yeah, we talked about Zach Meacham's stats at the beginning of the broadcast. He's averaging 8.8 yards a carry. He had the big run that was called back for the holding. He just had a long run that was, of course, ended with a fumble. And Donnell Hall, who's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, he had a couple of solid runs. But
that's 76. That's Maxim, and he's been a tough player tonight. He looks like favoring a leg there. We're not doctors, we don't speculate, but he has been an impact player at least in the first quarter. So if he's unable to return, that would change things up for Bishop Kearney.
And as a player, it seemed like whenever you had this sort of weather, the injuries started to show up a little more often, and it just seemed like every hit, you felt it a little bit more when you're, sopping wet.
Yeah.
So
and maybe that was a factor in the turnover too. That Zach getting hit from the side there. He's been really good with ball security all season, and especially after a 14-yard run, you've got the first down. You don't want the ball to come out.
So the Cougar defense find themselves back on the field, and Benjamin's going to hand it off and tackled in the backfield by Mitchell Bowling.
That's your senior leader making a big play when you need it. HFL coming off the turnover right there. Mitchell just split those two linemen, and he was in there about a step after the running back got the ball. The poor guy never had a chance.
And we do have a flag on that first down play. Have to see who it's against. If it's against the Kings, depending on what it is, Cougars may decline. It's going to be a hold. So HFL is going to accept it. So it'll move the ball back, and it'll be a replay first down. So wipe the Mitchell Bowling tackle for a loss off the stat sheet.
So you're telling me it didn't happen? Didn't we just watch it happen? It happened, but it didn't count, right?
Instant amnesia.
But there we go. It's a couple more yards for an extra down. But I think more importantly, Mitchell Bowling just kind of asserting himself there, and we'll see what that leads to going forward. A big play like that can help jumpstart a team.
So 1st and 18, we'll call it for the Kings. Benjamin alone in the backfield. It's going to be a pass play. Throws it to the near side. That's going to be caught.
I believe that's number
12.
It's number 12, Beeson. So Beeson, couple runs, couple catches, and a nice throw there across the body into the rain. Beeson was open there. The defense wasn't really close to him. Made sure he caught the ball and really gets the Kings out of a tough situation where they were 1st and long. Now it's 2nd and 9.
So 9 yards gained through the air on first down. Benjamin again alone in the backfield. 4 receivers to the near side, throw into the far side, and that's going to be up and intercepted by the Cougars. Now going the other way is Aiden Gould, past midfield at the 40, and he's going to be wrapped up and tackled at the 40-yard line by a pair of Kings. So it's the Cougars who generated turnover, and now the HFL offense has great starting field position.
Much needed turnover, I might say. Benjamin overthrew his receiver there by about 5 yards. Aiden Gould, the senior defensive back, well positioned, waiting there, corralled the ball, and a great return. Now the Cougars will start the second quarter at the Bishop Kearney 40.
So that's the end of the first quarter, so we'll take a commercial break here.
Every workplace injury is different. But what comes next is always the same: questions, paperwork, and stress. Seeger and Shortina will help you handle all of it, just like we've helped thousands of injured workers over the last 30 years. We look at your case from every angle: workers' comp, personal injury, and Social Security disability. And we handle them all under one roof, so you have one number to call, one voice speaking for you to get all the benefits you deserve.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Love the convenience of curbside pickup, but fear unpacking your groceries. The beauty of having experienced grocery people picking up your orders is getting exactly what you want. So leave the shopping to your friends at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Made from scratch baked goods to hand-cut, vegan, megan, and everything in between. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. And Bodywork Needed, a well-known business situated here in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. The massage therapists at Bodywork Needed pride themselves on a uniquely personalized experience. They listen to your needs, assess your condition, and deliver integrative therapies to treat your immediate and root cause of pain. Whether you need stress release, serious pain relief, or ongoing treatment, Bodywork Needed is the place for you. For those interested in beginning their journey to health and well-being, should give Pam Scully a call at 802-2405 or use her online contact form. And tonight's game also brought to you by Meehan Architecture. Rob has asked us, rather than read an ad, to talk about sports, so we'll talk about some other HFL sports in between plays here. Sectionals for HFL has been going on for a couple weeks. We had the girls soccer team lose a tough one last week, and then earlier this week we had the boys soccer team lose a heartbreaker in PKs. So their seasons were both cut short here early in the postseason as the Cougars offense looked to throw. Going deep is Young, and that's going to be nearly intercepted. Number 2, Reed for the Kings, had a hand on it, tried to maybe bring in a one-hand snag, but he was unable to, and the ball falls to the turf.
You know, when we came back from break, Peter, HFL this season has a lot of times gone for the big play right off the turnover, and I wondered if they would do it there. They went with a run on the first play. Not surprised that they took a shot downfield. Great position by Reed, and I thought he might be able to haul that in. It would have been a spectacular play, but he was definitely in position to break up the pass and possibly cause a turnover.
So we have some pre-snap movement. Looks like it might be against the defense. Yep, it's going to be encroachment on Bishop Kearney, so this will give HFL 5 free yards on third down.
And good job there by Brody Young. I don't know if he used the hard count. We can't really see, but the kind of the patience HFL in this rain, you know, those 5 yards, you know, making it 3rd and 4 gives this offense more options. Well, this is a pretty long conversation for the officials on what, you know, is a somewhat routine play. So maybe, okay, it was offside, but it took him a while to get there, I thought.
Yeah, not sure. It seemed like the near side judge had the encroachment, you know, hand motion immediately, and a little bit extra meeting of the minds.
You know, were they talking about somebody possibly flinching or a head bob or something? It looked like that took a little bit longer to sort out than it normally does. But here are the Cougars in 3rd and 4, and they got options to either run or pass.
So here's the handoff to Hall. Hall's got some running room up the center. He's going to be tackled at about the 10-yard line. So Cougars set up. 1st and goal. That's a Cougar first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today.
And a huge hole there for Donnell Hall. We did talk about HFL spreading the field, having the option to run or pass, and it's up number 57. I believe that was Charlie Kirby out there leading the way. And Hall with about a 32-yard gain. Very nice. Got HFL knocking on the door. It's inside the 5. So Cougars offense seems to be waking up a little bit here.
So the ball ultimately gets spotted at the 8-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 8 for the Cougars. We'll have to see what they do here. They got 2 running backs in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Hall. He's got the edge. He's in the corner. Touchdown, Cougars. Don L. Hall finds the Meehan Architecture end zone, and the Cougars strike first. 6-0 here at HFL.
And a super run there by Donnell Hall. You see the quickness. He eluded the tackler in the backfield, made another nice move out on the side. Once he gets to the edge, he gets the hip move and plants it. and he could have run a lot more than 8 yards, but he gets HFL into the end zone and on the scoreboard.
So it's Xavier Carbonell coming in for the point after attempt. Now you'll see the rain is pretty much falling straight down on your screen, so the wind isn't too bad here in Honeoye Falls, as here's the hold, the kick is up, and it's got the distance, and it's good. So Cougars 7, Bishop Kearney nothing. Let's take another look at the run here for the touchdown.
Yep, Donnell Hall has gotten the ball a couple times, breaks free of number 1, Walker, in the backfield, and gets to the edge, and, with so much focus on Zach Meacham, maybe Donnell Hall could be a little bit of an X factor here.
And Zach Meacham has been able to make a couple key blocks. He didn't get anyone maybe fully engaged, but he was just enough in the way, so to speak, so that Hall could get the edge. So we'll have a kickoff here brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405.
And so, Peter, even though the Cougars didn't strike early, they did strike first. So they're ahead here, position they're used to being in. I think one thing HFL has done on special teams a lot is that little kind of that motor kick to like the 30-yard line where they run in. They haven't been kicking the ball deep a lot. Be interesting to see how they approach this. Wet ball, slippery turf, maybe try to double up and see if you can beat Kearney to the ball here.
Yeah, and Kearney's already played HFL once. They know how the Cougars play this kicking game. So you got to expect they know that this is coming and that Coach Gauze has told his team to fair catch. But obviously they do have to reel that thing in. And with this rain, you never know what's going to happen.
Yep, and slippery. I mean, you're a former player. Is it fun to play in the rain, or is when it's cold and wet like this, does it not as fun as that, pure sunny October afternoon with 60 degrees and sunshine?
I'll tell you what, it's a lot more fun to win in the rain than lose in the rain, and I'll leave it at that.
Or losing the sunshine even.
So here's the kick from Carbonell. It's actually a deep kick, and it's going to go over the head and eventually fielded by Walker, and he's chased down by Meacham, and eventually he'll be brought down at about the 30-yard line.
So that's typically where teams have been starting against HFL, right around the 30. Carbonell does have a strong leg with soccer season over. He's probably football full-time, so maybe we'll see a little bit more mixing it up here on the special teams. We know HFL spends a good deal of time on special teams, maybe more than other schools do. And, the unpredictability is a big thing for the Cougars. They would like to keep you on your toes.
So 1st and 10 for the Kings. They've been able to get a couple first downs here tonight, as it looks like we actually have a change at quarterback. Number 10, Byron Starks, checking in for the Kings.
And Coach Gauze did mention Starks is maybe getting some time at quarterback. Says he's a good athlete and, a chance to contribute. I don't know if this was planned to get him some reps or if the turnover by Benjamin is something that, is going to be one of those teachable moments.
So Jemai Walker on first down, he'll pick up 5 yards. So 2nd and 5 for Bishop Kearney.
And, we mentioned at the outset, too, that Kearney is going to do whatever it can to keep HFL on its toes. We didn't see Starks, I don't think, in the first game. And maybe looks like confusion there, and it's going to be a big play for the Cougars. Is that Reese Joint or Mitchell Bulling? We'll get it on the replay, but huge sack there. It looks like HFL is starting to come alive.
Well, I don't think it was Reese Joint. I think it was Carson Joint with Mitchell Bowling.
Reese Joint's probably at Oneonta, maybe studying on a Friday. Maybe he's in the stands. I don't know. but that's the first time all year I've done that, so that's not bad because we called Reese Joint's name a lot during the spring.
So the miscommunication on 2nd down moves them back 5, and it'll be 3rd and 10. We got 4 receivers to the near side here. Every time they've done a bunch set like this, they've thrown the ball to the other side of the field to try and hope to maybe unbalance this Cougar defense. And again, they go to the weak side, got contact downfield. Bishop Kearney's looking for a flag, but the refs are not going to throw it. I guess the argument could be that maybe that ball wasn't catchable.
Very astute analysis by you there, Peter, noticing the trends with the Bishop Kearney play call. Starks was looking that way the whole time, though. He never went for the second read. He knew that was the direction that the ball was going to go. Looked like the Cougars had it covered pretty well. Number 12 did. That's Beeson did have a little bit of contact with the Cougar defender, but I don't think it would really impacted the play that much.
So 4th and 10. Here's the punt, and it's going to be a fake. Don't know if this is designed or not, but this is number 10, Starks, and it's going to be close.
And just a great recovery there by the Cougars to make the tackle. And let's get that right this time, Carson Joint. And he may have been our defensive key player, the middle linebacker. Got over there, made the tackle. The Cougars are going to start in plus territory again. I think that was not planned. I think the rush was strong. Starks pulled the ball down, and then just great job closing by Joint to prevent the first down, because if Starks could have turned the corner a little bit, the Kings still might be marching forward.
Yeah, hard to tell with the angle that we're at, but I thought it was a little bit close to the stick, but no, he was about 3 or 4 yards shy of the line to gain. So the Cougars find themselves again starting on offense in Bishop Kearney territory. Ball is going to be at about the 37-yard line. We have doubles formation for the Cougars. Meacham to Young's right. It's going to be a pass play. Brody Young tossed it, and his receiver was taken down. That was Aiden Gould who was tackled, and we do have a flag this time around.
Yeah, and we talk about that, right? The Cougars, when they get a break in plus territory, a lot of times they like to take the shot. Great job on the blitz pickup there by 22, Zach Meacham. Gould looked like he was starting to pull away from the defender. If I'm Coach Gauze, I'm saying maybe I'm okay with that penalty, because no guarantee in this weather it's going to be caught, but the Aiden Gould was starting to break away and would have had a clear shot at the end zone.
So pass interference called on Kearney, and this is, I don't believe that this is a spot foul. I believe this is just a 15-yard penalty.
Which that's a pretty, yeah, that's put it at the 22-37. Yeah, 15 yards from the start from the line of scrimmage. So Cougars do get plus yardage there. 4th penalty of the half so far for Bishop Kearney. That was another key, right? Not making mistakes. And although I can live with that one, really, with the receiver running by the D-back, give your defense another day to try to make a play.
So on first down after the penalty, it's going to be a screen play looking for Meacham. He wasn't quite there. The rush got to him. And that first down on the penalty was brought to you by HFMP. Order your groceries for online pickup, or order your groceries online for curbside pickup today. We'll take another look. Just the pressure got to Young. And Meacham, you can see he knows immediately he wasn't where he needed to be at the right time. So it's going to bring up second and 10 for HFL.
Right. The screen has been a staple of the HFL offense. They haven't had as much success with it all season as they have in the past. Zach Meacham, though, he immediately knew, like you said, he looked to be making a block, got caught up in the middle. The timing was off, and when the timing's off on a screenplay, Peter, it's hard to complete it.
So the counter to Meacham makes one man miss. He's got a couple blockers helping him, and he's going to make it about to the 15-yard line. So we'll see 3rd and 2 for the Cougars.
And that's a super powerful run. Meacham breaks a tackle about the 21-yard line by number 50. He was attempting to make that tackle, Jarrell Dorsey, and plowed forward for another 5 yards. So that's the thunder part of the HFL offense.
And not only Meacham was thundering forward, but also the pulling right tackle, Charlie Kirby, was giving him the lead block. And we have Wildcat yet again for the Cougars.
Okay, and Brody's on this side of the field. You can't see him in the picture. Probably some motion here. We'll see what they've got going.
Gould's been the typical motion man, and he is again. And he's going to get the handoff. He's got some blockers, and he'll power ahead and fall on the far side of the 10. So that's going to be a first down for HFL, brought to you by Honey and Falls Marketplace. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today.
Yep, Wildcat basically kind of get the counteraction going, the flow. And good job by the HFL offensive line, get that first down, maybe 7-8 yard carry. And, different guys touching the ball. We've talked about ball distribution for HFL. Ton of playmakers on this team, and the ball distribution is very even. Aiden Gould with a chance to make a play. He's only got 1 touchdown this year, but he was pretty close there. That was only his 3rd carry of the season, too.
So 1st and 10, it's going to be a handoff to Meacham, who's going to be met immediately in the backfield by number 70. That's Shandall Johnson.
Big play there by Johnson. Penetration all the way across the board. 70's there to meet him. Number 5, Kobe Covington, is there. So the Kearney defense, inside the 10-yard line, the field gets a little bit smaller and compressed, and they swarm the ball very well on that play.
And Cougars head coach John Russ did make mention to us when we talked to him on the phone earlier this week that Kearney does have a slight size advantage over HFL, and we've been seeing it in the early goings in this one, especially near the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
As we have a design quarterback run by Young, and Young is going to get into the end zone, and the Cougars score another touchdown. This time it's senior quarterback Brody Young finding the Meehan Architecture end zone as Cougars jump out 13-0.
So that's one of the RPOs, run-pass options that the Cougars run quite frequently. Nice job by Brody Young, breaking a tackle in the backfield, finding a seam, and following his blockers all the way into the end zone. So 2 possessions in a row, the Cougars with touchdowns, and starting to feel a little bit more like we thought it would.
So you can see Cougars lining up for the point-after attempt. Joint the hold, the snap. Ben Carson the hold, and the kick is up by Carbonell and good. So he's 2 for 2 on the night. Here's another look at that quarterback keep that resulted in the touchdown for HFL.
And it looked like once Brody got to the 5-yard line, he said, "There's nothing stopping me," and he kind of just barreled forward and got in. He's not known as much for the running, but if that's another kind of aspect of the Cougar offense that for the defense to prepare for in the playoffs, especially around the goal line, they're going to be tough to stop.
So this upcoming kickoff brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405. And one more note about that Brody Young touchdown. They had senior night. His advice to his fellow underclassmen was to not fumble the ball on the 1-yard line, an allusion to one of the other few runs he's had this season where he gained about 20 yards. This was at Newark Marion, and he coughed the ball up at the 1-yard line. So that time he's able to hold on to the rock and cross the goal line and extend this Cougar lead to 14 as Xavier Carbonell ready to tee it up. He kicked it deep last time. We'll have to see if they do the same this time.
And those senior night speeches were really good. I mean, this HFL football culture has come a long way, and to hear the advice players have. It's on the ground. Let's see what we got here. Cougar ball.
And we talked about it. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be recovered by
Aiden Gould, Mr. Everything, Mr. Everywhere.
The Swiss Army knife, Aiden Gould. You can see this just end-over-end kick bounces right off number 10, Joey Northrup. Number 10 for the Kings. That's Byron Starks, the quarterback, who wasn't able to reel that one in. And Cougar offense back out on the field. We'll have to see how this Kearney defense can respond. They just were faced with, they had their backs immediately in their own zone, and now they find themselves in a similar situation. Cougars 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
So the HFL first touchdown came with 10:21 left in the half. We're at 6 minutes now. So for the last 4 minutes, the Kearney offense has only had the ball for 3 plays and a punt. HFL has scored twice, and I think they'll probably take a shot here.
And here's Young loading up deep. He's got a man. It's caught and immediately dropped is Aiden Gould at the 5-yard. No, they're going to say it's incomplete.
Well, I'm glad we have replay because we can get a second look at that. Aiden Gould was waiting for the ball. It looked to me like he made a couple of steps afterwards. There's the ball.
So he
catches it at the 10.
2.
And a great play by number 7, who is TJ Moorhead, to come across and force the ball out. But, we're not officials. We don't wear stripes. We do watch a lot of football, and a lot of times you see that play called completion. That's a catch and a fumble.
To quote the legend Tony Romo, I don't know, Jim. But in any case, we'll have 2nd and 10 here for HFL after the incompletion on first down.
Yeah, when Tony Romo says, "I don't know, Jim," that means I disagree, but he's trying to find a nice way to say it.
So here's another pass play. Brody Young surveying the field, throwing over the middle, and this time it is caught by HFL, and it's going to be enough for a first down. This is a Cougar first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today. That reception to number 4 for HFL, that's Ben Carson, the leading the leading receiver for this Cougar offense.
And what we're starting to see here, Peter, is the HFL line doing a good job with the pass blocking. Both of those plays, Brody Young had a lot of time to throw, had time for the receivers to get open, and that time Carson, well, I don't think he was the primary, but Young had the time to survey the field, check off, and make a nice 18-yard play. And this is more like I think the first few drives we didn't see many passes, if any, at all. Now we're starting to see that HFL offense get back into its normal rhythm.
And based on what I'm seeing, the weather has not changed at all, as we have a handoff to Hall, and he's immediately dropped in the backfield by the Kings.
Looked like both Zuri Johnson, a defensive back, and Kobe Covington, a linebacker, were able to get that penetration. I give Zuri Johnson the first hit there. And, the run game has not come easy for HFL, especially after last week at Palmac, where the Cougars basically ran at will. Good job by Bishop Kearney all night long. The longest run we have is for Hall. He broke off about a 30-yarder on the last drive. But Zach Meacham, he's living 2-2-5, 14-8. And it's been a while since Zach carried the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get it here really soon.
So we have two running backs in the backfield, and it's going to be a muff snap. Brody Young had initially got his hands on it, and then it fell to the turf. So this is going to bring up 4th and long. We'll have to see what the Cougars elect to do. I think it's too far for a field goal, and obviously you're not going to punt. So you're going to take your chances and try and get the first down here.
And I think it's 3rd down, so they're going to have 2 cracks at it. So maybe they were a little quick with the sticks there to throw you off. But regardless, as long as it's not a big negative play here, I think the Cougars' defense has played well. You got a chance here to get ahead by 3 scores. I think if they need to, they'll take 2 shots here, but I'm sure they'd like to get it in 1. We haven't seen them go deep to Nolan Smith yet. Maybe that's the matchup we could look for.
So here's the pass, and another attempted screen is broken up by Bishop Kearney. They're able to sniff those out. They were able to do it on that October 2nd meeting, and it hasn't been there again tonight for the Cougars. So now we do have 4th down, and Cougars are going to, bring out the punting unit with Xavier Carbonell. So he's going to try and attempt a coffin corner here, I would imagine, to try and pin the Kings back deep in their own territory.
And it did look like the screen was set up well there if you could get Meacham the ball. He was in a bubble, but the pressure was too much, and that's just something that has not clicked for the Cougars as much this season as it normally does.
And Carbonell drops the kick. He's able to recover. I think that one actually went off a Bishop Kearney King, and somebody touches the ball. I'm not sure who, and everyone's reacting as if it's a live ball. And we have a beanbag toss, so that's going to say it is a live ball.
So, again, replay will be our friend. That ball was deflected when it came off Carbonell's foot, and then I think a second King touched it. So who gets there? I think it's number 70, gets a little bit of his arm on it. As we go in here right now.
Yeah, it looks like whoever this player was, number 2, that is Reed, who I believe touched it. So Cougars have an opportunity here to take a huge advantage of a miscue there by Bishop Kearney. They're going to set up inside the 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
And that's the 3rd turnover here of the actually the first turnover was on the last play of the first quarter. So that's 3 turnovers in four not even possessions. 1 was on a kickoff. So Kearney is that good start. These turnovers are going to make it really tough to keep HFL out of the end zone.
So 1st and 10. Brody going to look. He's going to loft one up to the back of the end zone. And good job there by number 1, Jemai Walker, able to contest that catch with Ben Carson.
And that one might have been a little bit of a weather play. It's a double move by Carson. He does get behind the defense. He was open for a little bit, but great close there by Walker. And HFL have a 2nd down here. But
And I got to wonder if some of these spirals are just kind of getting slowed down by the rain. And I've noticed a couple of the last couple passes by Brody have wound up a little short. I got to imagine that some of that can be attributed to this rain and maybe even if it's not that, him not being able to get his feet set, as we have a handoff to Zach Meacham. That might be a loss of 1 or 2 yards. Nope, he's going to get back actually to the line of scrimmage.
Nice. I think it is going to be about a 2-yard loss. Number 5, Covington, got him low first, and then the second Kearney defender came in and finished him off. So Zach's had a little bit of a more difficult time getting on track tonight.
You know, something we haven't seen is any wide receiver screens. We've seen running back screens, but we haven't seen any wide receiver screens, as we have 2 running backs in the backfield for the Cougars. And it's going to be a play action, and Brody Young able to escape some pressure. He's going to run it, fake a pass, and he's going to be dropped at about the 14-yard line.
And a good decision there by Brody Young not to try and do too much. He made a great move to get outside of the pocket, and they faked the handoff to Hall. Number 12 has a hold of him. Young breaks away. It looks like he might get the corner, but great job there by number 60 to close, run along the line, and finish Brody off. But Brody looked like maybe he was entertaining thoughts of putting the ball in the air like Carson Wentz last week, and a good decision for him to pull it in, and we'll see if Carbonell can get this field goal.
Yeah, it looked like he did have Ben Carson streaking across the middle of the field, and he was pretty open, but wasn't able to see him, and it would have been a tough throw anyway.
And sometimes on a broken play with that, you just got to take what's there.
Kick is up, and it's got the distance, and it's good.
Very impressive kick there by Carbonell. 33 yards, driving rain, cold, wet October night. Good to see that from the Cougar perspective, that you know that you have that kind of a weapon in your backpack if you need it, because close games and sectionals, having a reliable kicker can make the difference. It's made the difference for HFL twice this year in their 2 1-point wins over both Wayne and Batavia.
So this kickoff brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form. So we are just under 2 minutes here to play in the first half. Cougars lead 17-0 over the Bishop Kearney Kings. This is the quarterfinal round of the Section 5 Class B playoffs. The winner of this game is going to play the winner of Dansville, Wayland Cohocton, or Palmac.
Correct. And halftime we'll try and get a check on these scores and see how things are going tonight. Everything in Class B was a 7 o'clock start. Other half of the bracket has number 2 Batavia, number 7 Newark Marion, and also number 3 Wayne, and number 6 Wilson. So exciting times, and I love it. Like, all these games are at the same time. It's kind of like the last day of the NFL season, where you can't really look around because everything's happening at the same time.
And that's a deep kick that's just going to trickle out of bounds, and that'll be a penalty against the Cougars. So I got to think that was on purpose. Maybe Xavier Carbonell was going to hope that he could get a favorable roll and keep that thing inside the hash marks and the out-of-bounds marker and keep it from going in the end zone, so it was a live ball. But smart play there by the Kings to just let it keep rolling.
And impressive leg strength by Xavier Carbonell, too. With special teams being a third of the game, having somebody that can flop field position like he does with his punts, have the strong leg on kickoffs to mix things up and to make field goals, a nice player to have, a nice option for the Cougars.
So 1st and 10 now for the Kings. They got all 3 timeouts here. HFL has used 1.
And if you're Bishop Kearney here, you just don't want to make another mistake. The last 10 minutes of this quarter have been difficult, and they're still going with Starks.
So here's the handoff for the Kings. Believe that was to Beeson. Rashawn Beeson. He's going to pick up maybe 1 or 2 yards. Nice play there by 61.
Jack Harvey.
That's Jack Harvey for the Cougars from his defensive end position to come down the offensive line and make the play. So 2nd and 8 now for the Kings. It's going to be a pass play. Here's Stark's attempt, and incomplete. in the direction of number 1. That's Walker.
And a good job there by Donnell Hall to break that pass up. That'll stop the clock. So the Cougars, with another stop here, they can get the Kings in a special team situation. And special teams is one area where the Cougars have had a decided advantage. Maybe they can, force the turnover, a block punt, and, get a short field for another attempted score.
So 3rd and 8. Pass play going to be caught by number 2. He works his way backwards behind the yard to gain, but he ultimately gets up towards midfield. That's Reed.
An impressive run there by Markel Reed. He did give up some territory there, as you mentioned, Peter. You thought maybe it would cost him the first down, but he bought himself some time and space. Made a nice cut there to get around both Carson Joint and Aiden Gould broke a tackle, and then the next thing you know, he's 10 yards further downfield. Bishop Kearney is at the midfield stripe.
So we have a penalty there before the snap. It's going to be false start against the Kings. So they'll move back 5 yards here.
And Bishop Kearney, at midfield with a minute to play, you're thinking maybe you take a shot at scoring there. And then these pre-snap penalties, I believe that's the 3rd one tonight, have just really stymied any momentum that they've started to get.
So on 1st and 15, Starks from the shotgun. And man in motion number 7, that's TJ Moorhead. It's going to be a handoff to Beeson, and he's immediately dropped. That's number 61 for the Cougars. That's Jack Harvey.
And the clock stops with 33.4 seconds left, Peter. That it's 2nd down for the Kings. A big defensive play there by Jack Harvey. He's had a couple tonight. And
so with 33.4 seconds left, we have a timeout. So both teams will take a second to think this one over. Not quite sure who called the timeout. It looks like, it was Bishop Kearney who took the timeout there, facing 2nd and 19. You got to think they're going to maybe try and take a couple shots deep here, try and take advantage of the remaining time in this first half. And for those of you who missed the opening kickoff, it was the Cougars who received. So Kearney will get the ball to start the second half, or rather they'll be on the kick return to start the second half. I know a couple times we've said so-and-so is going to start with the ball, and we see something happen like we saw on the last kickoff, or 2 kickoffs ago, and the old announcers jinx. So right. HFL will be, how about HFL will be kicking off.
HFL will be kicking off. And this timeout may possibly benefit HFL because it's 2nd and long. They get an incompletion here on force the 3rd down, and maybe that force a punt, and then anything can happen. There's another one of those bunch formations. Are they going to go to the other side of the field, Peter?
This time they go over the middle, and that was off number 44's hands. That's Chris Harris, and you always got to be a little bit nervous about those kind of passes over the middle that go off your receiver's hands. Luckily for the Kings, there was nobody else in the territory, and it falls harmlessly to the turf. Stops the clock with 29.7 to go in the first half. So 3rd and 19 for the Kings.
It wasn't a straight screen, but it looked like it was a little shallow cross there by 44 Harris, trying to get him in between the layers of the HFL defense. He can get some space. And
so we have a timeout by the Bishop Kearney Kings, so they'll have 1 timeout remaining. HFL will have 2 timeouts remaining. As the wind starts to pick up here a bit at HFL, I've noticed.
And Pat Fahey having some fun with the tunes tonight. I don't know if he got into my playlist. I heard some Ronnie James Dio, Rainbow in the Dark. Now the themes from the Dukes of Hazzard used to be on TV about this time on Friday nights in the 70s. But yeah, Kearney, I mean, as much as you want to make a play here, it's more important not to make a mistake and give HFL the opportunity to get another score. But I did hear Pat Fahey joking with one of the fans who was standing up with his umbrella before the game, and he said, if you don't sit down, you're not going to get any Waylon Jennings. So maybe he's paying the fan back with, for his good behavior.
And you can just see the lights here at James Dollard Athletic Stadium illuminating this precipitation as it falls to the turf. 3rd and 19 for the Kings. Here's Starks loading it up, looking over the middle. And it was touched by 2 Cougars, but it's incomplete. Stops the clock with 24.1 seconds.
And that's another one of those deep balls over the middle. Good pressure by the HFL line. Nice drop there by Carson. Zach Meacham had Beeson covered, and it almost looked like Beeson made a good play to kind of tie Zach Meacham up so he couldn't put the ball away and get the punt or get the interception as Kearney comes on to punt.
So Cougars got to be mindful of this ball. We've already seen one mistake tonight. It was by Bishop Kearney accidentally touching a bouncing ball on a punt.
And you got to have a good snap here too.
And here's the kick. Line drive. Takes a bounce. And JT Killenbeck playing a dangerous game as the ball is going to roll inside the 25-yard line. I'd expect HFL to maybe take a knee here and go to the half with the 17-0 lead. But you never know with 2 timeouts.
Oh, I think we know. We've been wrong before, but I feel pretty safe in that tonight, especially things have come difficult, not come easy for the Cougars. They've had a strong second quarter, scoring 17 points, but really they don't have a ton to gain by doing anything more than that.
Now, I want to give a quick shout-out to the gentleman here in the Carhartt jacket. He's one of the unsung heroes tonight, ball boy, having to make sure that thing's dry for his offense as the Cougars are just going to take a knee here to end the first half. So HFL with the 17-0 lead will go to a commercial break here. Then we'll come back with some first half highlights and we'll break down a little bit what to expect in the second half.
Workplace injuries involve a lot of uncertainty. At first, it may seem like just a workers' comp case. But at Seeger and Shortino, we look at your case from every angle. You may also have a personal injury case that pays for your pain and suffering. Seeger and Shortino will handle every aspect of your case: workers' comp, personal injury, and Social Security disability. We'll help you get all the benefits you deserve. So call or text us today.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Love the convenience of curbside pickup, but fear unpacking your groceries? The beauty of having experienced grocery people picking up your orders is getting exactly what you want. So leave the shopping to your friends at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Made from scratch baked goods to hand-cut meat, vegan, and everything in between. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Also, Bodywork Needed. A well-known business here in the community, Bodywork Needed is run by licensed massage therapist Pamela Scully, situated at the Four Corners in Honeoye Falls. The massage therapists at Bodywork Needed pride themselves on a uniquely personalized experience. They listen to your needs, assess your condition, and deliver therapies to treat your immediate and root cause of pain. Whether you need stress relief, serious pain relief, or ongoing treatment, Bodywork Needed is the place for you. For those interested in beginning their journey to health and well-being, should give her a call at 802-2405 or use her online contact form. Tonight also brought to you by Four Corners Eye Care and Optical. Now celebrating 30 years, Four Corners Eye Care and Optical provide full scope vision and medical eye care needs, as well as quality optical services in the convenient location of the Four Corners of Honeoye Falls. Dr. Kissick and his staff are proud to call HFL home all these years. Hundreds of local residents, including myself, are proud to call Dr. Kissick their optometrist. Give Dr. Kissick a call at Four Corners Eye Care and Optical at 624-2122. Our other sponsor tonight, Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. And of course, our broadcast being carried by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Support local journalism by subscribing to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. You can visit their website, mhflsentinel.com. You can like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, and follow them on Instagram at MHFL Sentinel. And last but not least, tonight's game also brought to you by Meehan Architecture. Now, rather than do an ad read, Rob has asked us to talk football. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here at HFL. And when we come back, we'll have some first half highlights brought to you by Meehan Architecture. And we'll break those down and talk about what to expect here in this second half. Again, thanks for tuning in to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. We'll be back in just a second. With just under 5 to go here at the halftime intermission here at Honeoye Falls-Lima, and you can see this thing is just coming down, and it's been like this since we got here, and I don't think it's stopping anytime soon. Cougars up 17-0. We're going to roll some highlights here from the first half of play. So, Steve, you want to walk us through them?
Sure. Scoreless first quarter, Peter. Early second quarter, it's Donnell Hall, the 8-yard touchdown run for Honeoye Falls-Lima. Breaks a couple tackles, gets to the outside, and finds that Meehan Architecture end zone. Next drive, it's a run-pass option. Brody Young, 12-yard run. Breaks a couple tackles, gets to the 5-yard line, buries his head, and plows across the goal line. And then probably maybe the most impressive score of the night, this 33-yard field goal by Xavier Carbonell came with 1:52 left in the half. Cougars were knocking on the door of the end zone, got pushed back a little bit, and to show you can make a 33-yard field goal in these conditions, that's not automatic for anybody.
And you could see when that field goal, when the ball hit the part of the track there, it was a splashdown with the amount of rain we've got here tonight. And interesting, it seems to have played somewhat of a factor, but maybe not as much as we expected, especially in terms of the passing game.
At least early on, I thought it did. When we talked to Coach Russ, he was enthusiastic about wanting to get the ball, come out, and score early. The Cougars did not pass as much early. I think they were trying to figure things out. Kearney did a good job stopping the running game. But as the HFL offense started to click a little bit, a lot of it was because they were making some plays in the passing game. But we also saw some of the challenges. We had Aiden Gould open behind the secondary, unable to haul one in. And the screen game, Cougars have been unable to connect. I think that, having a 3-score lead, if you're HFL, you really want that running game to start clicking so you can grind off some time and grind out some yardage. And that, I think that would probably be the number one adjustment if I'm the Cougars I make at halftime, is figure out how to get the running game going.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. HFL kicking off to start the second half, so the Kings will theoretically start with the ball. And, do you think this first offensive possession of theirs is a must score, or are they not quite there? I know we say three possession, score in favor of the Cougars, but when you look at the scoreboard, 17 isn't too intimidating as maybe 21.
No, or even 24. I think it is a must score because it would send a message that they're in it for the long haul. If BK goes 3 and out and the Cougars score at 24-0, 8 minutes left in the third quarter, changes the complexion of the game completely. And the other thing, too, for Bishop Kearney is ball security. That 3 turnovers in the first half were very costly, led to all 17 HFL points came off of turnovers. So on a night that started pretty well for Bishop Kearney with the defense making plays, controlling the line of scrimmage a bit, those turnovers have been directly responsible for the Cougars getting on the scoreboard.
So with about 90 seconds here before the halftime supposed to start again, although I don't see any of the teams back out, you want to give us a quick rundown of the other Class B playoff games that are currently going on?
Well, I've got 2 out of 3 here, Peter. In the game that may be most curious to our audience from the HFL perspective, Batavia up big over Newark. We think it's 28-0 at the half. We're trying to read the scoreboard, but it was rainy there too. We've got number 3 Wayne with the 12-0 lead over Wilson. That was in the second quarter. Unable to locate anything on who the Cougars' next opponent would be if they win tonight. The game between number 4 Dansville, Wayland Cohocton, number 5 Helmira Macedon. Been unable to locate that. But if you're the Cougars right now, you're not thinking ahead. You're thinking the only thing you're thinking ahead to is the second half and finishing the job. The one other score I did see, Canandaigua, which may have been the most impressive team in Section 5 all season, 34-0 lead over Greece Arcadia. The Braves have won 2 consecutive sectional titles, long winning streak in Section 5, and if you're going for style points, who's been the best team in terms of impressing people this season, Canandaigua might get my vote.
What about the Class A semifinal between East and Spencerport? Did you get a chance to check that one?
I wasn't able to find that one. That was kind of the game that I had circled in my head at least. And on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, shameless plug there, is potentially being the game of the week. The Spencerport Twitter feed is usually very good, so let's see what Ranger Sports does for us right here.
So as you look for that. We see both teams now out on the field trying to maybe warm up, or rather get loose after drying off in their respective areas, as it looks like, Steve, you do have a score update here?
I do. It was posted an hour ago, but Spencerport with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter had an early 16-0 lead over East. Spencerport, a very difficult team to come back on. So great start there for the Rangers. They were formerly known as a wrestling and a soccer school, but John Dowd out there has done a good job with that football team in the last couple of years. And the Rangers are kind of the team we talked about with Livonia and their offense. If you're in Class A, the team you don't want to play against is Spencerport, because they run that double wing, and it's so difficult to prepare for.
Now, doesn't Dansville, Wayland Cohocton run shades of that offense?
We saw a version of it. I haven't seen a lot of Dansville, Wayland Cohocton since early in the season. They started off 2-0 and really took, kind of Section 5 by storm. Class B at the beginning. I thought Wilson may have been kind of the X-factor team in the bracket, and really, in my mind, it's become Dansville, Wayland Cohocton. Obviously, if the Cougars advance and we're able to stream next week, we'll take a much deeper look at them and have a better idea. But they do run a version of that, yes.
And it sounds like the Wayne Eagles and the Batavia Blue Devils are headed on a collision course for that semifinal game, and I know, as a fan, that's going to be a fun one to see how those two teams match up against one another. They, of course, did not see each other in the regular season. They both played HFL as a common opponent. And
the common denominator is a 1-point loss to HFL. So you would think they would be evenly matched, at least on paper, and I'm with you. And, if we're talking about the Class B bracket, the biggest advantage for the Cougars to be in the top seed is that if they are able to get to the championship game, they wouldn't have to play Wayne or Batavia, who have been there. But that's not to say that Palemac or Wayland Cohocton couldn't come up with a huge effort next week. But that Wayne Batavia game is one that will have a lot of interest. And as we look at the screen here, the rain has not let up. It's been pretty consistent since about, what did you say, Peter, like an hour before game time, 6 o'clock, it really started coming down. You were here getting set up, and let's give a shout-out to our crew, because, things are a little different with the broadcast tonight. We're not able to be up top and have the bird's eye view, but you and our crew did a yeoman's job just getting us ready to be
Luke Mendrick, who's operating our replay system and our computer. Shout out Luke. He and I got here at just after 5:30, and the rain was starting to pick up when we got here. Operating our scoreboard tonight, Oliver Hansen, and our camera operator tonight, Chris Carosa.
We're going to give him a shout out. We're going to give him credit, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we are facing the high school here at HFL. We see a soaking wet soccer pitch out of our window. We do not see the football field. We are relying solely on a monitor that's showing us what's going on in the field. Maybe one of these days the technology will allow us to put this monitor maybe in a nice heated lounge with a nice comfy chair, and we can call the game from there. But right now we're stuck in the press box with everybody else, and we're a bit packed in here, but everyone's comfortable.
We could do it like Peyton and Eli and have special guests come in. Jeff DeVeronica, Bob Chavez, whoever, they go around the Section 5 roundtable style. But, and obviously just kidding about giving Chris, who's your dad, credit. Just, a lot goes into this. And used to make the joke, right? It's almost like making sausage. Sometimes you don't want to know how the sausage is made, but you just want it to taste good. And folks, really a lot more went into getting us up and running tonight than normal. And we're hoping that you all enjoy it, and a really special effort by you, Luke, Ollie, and your dad for sure.
And certainly also special thanks to our sponsors. I know we've already mentioned them a couple times tonight, but our presenting sponsor, Cigar and Choratino, their first season with us, and they've been huge supporters this season. Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery, Bodywork Needed, Meehan Architecture, Four Corners Eye Care and Optical, and Bullfinch Fund. And of course, the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, who have given you and I a platform to share these games with hundreds of viewers in the comfort of their living room. So.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun to do it as Carbonell kicks it off. He goes deep again. Tricky hop. There's number 7 taking it for Bishop Kearney. That's TJ Moorhead. Cuts outside. He's outside the 35 toward the 40, so it'll be good field position for the Kings.
Yeah, so a nice kickoff there, of course, brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form. As it looks like we have number 11, Tyler Benjamin, checking back in at quarterback. He was quarterback for most of
the first quarter. Maybe it's first quarter, second quarter. Maybe they're going quarters. But we got that funky bunch formation again with the tackle split. They've looked at screen pass before. Let's see what they're going to do here to try and gain space and create gaps.
Benjamin looking to the sideline for the play call. He's going to bark out an audible to his offensive line. So first play of second half is going to be a handoff to Walker, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield. And that looks like Mitchell Bowling, as well as looks like number 61, which is, of course, Jack Harvey. And we've heard both Mitchell Bowling and Jack Harvey's names quite a few times tonight.
We have, and Riley Kester in there too, 72. We've seen Kearney come out with the split tackle formation a few times. A lot of times it's been screen passes right there. It's like the HFL line says, okay, we've almost got you outnumbered here. We're gonna push up field and make you make a play. And maybe that's a halftime adjustment, but great play by the Cougars because Nolan Smith got a push too.
So 2nd and 16. Handoff to Walker. He's going to make a spin move, and he'll gain a yard. So it'll bring up 3rd and 15.
And right now the Kings are going backwards. And we talked about the line play in the first half. We know that the Cougars focused on their line, both offense and defense, coming into the game. You wonder what was said at halftime. Was there something said to motivate those players to step up and finish strong? Because I think that probably everybody associated on the HFL side was looking maybe for a better start, and you couldn't have a much better start than the first 2 plays here of the third quarter.
So on 3rd and 15, going to be a pass play. Ball is on the turf. Ball is on the turf, and it's going to be recovered by number 61. I believe that's Jack Harvey who got it. Let's take a quick look at the replay.
So look at that push by the line. Mitchell Bowling's in there, strip sack. Ball's kicked around a little bit. And there's Jack Harvey, Johnny on the spot to fall on the ball, giving the Cougars a start right on the edge of the red zone at the 20. And that's 3 straight plays, Peter, where the HFL defensive line just dominated, penetrated the Bishop Kearney backfield, and really tilted the scales in the Cougars' favor.
I think they might have heard our comments about Bishop Kearney maybe winning the point of attack in that first half, and maybe took a challenge to try and correct us here in the second half, as the Cougars' offense has been very fortunate tonight. They've started a couple different drives inside Bishop Kearney territory. This time at about the 20, it's a handoff to Meacham. And he's going to be tackled inside the 15-yard line by Chris Harris.
And Peter, I almost always agree with you, but maybe the line, the coaching staff did that. But there's probably the second best hole that Zach Meacham's had all night, and the other one was when there was a penalty. So offensive line opens up a hole there. Zach gets it for 8 yards, and that's what we're used to seeing with him, averaging about 8 yards a carry.
So 2nd and short, 3 receiver set, 2 to the near side for the Cougars, 2 running backs in the backfield, Meacham and Hall. Brody Young from the gun. He's going to hand off to Hall. Hall gets a block from Meacham. Hall makes one man miss, gets another downfield block from Carson. He's into the end zone. Donnell Hall finds the Meehan Architecture end zone for the second time tonight. Cougars extend their lead 23-0 over the Bishop Kearney Kings.
And what a cut by Donnell Hall here. You see him get about 5 yards in, makes a cut, plants, breaks a tackle, makes another cut at the 5, dances outside, and just a beautiful run. Both of his touchdowns, you've really seen his shiftiness and elusiveness, and stepping up tonight, 2 touchdowns in the first round of sectionals for the junior.
So here's the point after attempt for the Cougars. Snap, hold, kick is up, and it's good.
So beautiful start to the second half for the Cougars, Peter. Great stand by the defense to get the turnover, the 4th of the night, and then the offense takes 2 plays to punch it in the end zone. And that's that. We talked about a 3-score lead at halftime. Now it's still a 3-score lead, but a 24-point 3-score lead's much more intimidating than a 17 points 3-score lead.
And we mentioned on the call 2 key blocks, one by Meacham and one by Ben Carson. That's not going to show up on the stat sheet. It's only going to be under Donnell Hall's name for the touchdown, but definitely we'll call it for Meacham maybe a fullback assist.
Right, and that's a great point by you that not all blocking is done by the line. Sometimes the key to these big plays are things that happen at the second level where the receivers, tight ends, and running backs, just get a body on somebody. You don't have to pancake them, but giving a little time and space often leads to good things.
So here's the kickoff brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honey Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form. As Bishop Kearney able to cover up a live ball on that kickoff.
But if you're HFL, you'll take that. That ball lands at about the 25-yard line, scoots inside. Maybe it was the 30. But 1st and 10 at the 21 with 79 yards to go for the offense. If you're the Cougars after that last defensive series, you'll take that.
So the Kings find themselves trailing 24-0 here in the third quarter, about 9.5 to go. We'll have to see what the Kings have dialed up here offensively. Now I got to think we're getting in towards the territory of a must score on a drive.
They definitely must score, but they also must block. You can't do anything with 3 defensive linemen in your backfield.
So here's the throw, and that's going to be nearly intercepted. It went through first Griffin Mayo's hands for the Cougars, and then Markel Reed's hands, number 2, for the Kings.
Yeah, Mayo with a nice break on the ball. He's getting a little bit more time in the defensive secondary. I believe that Colt Miller is out tonight, so a chance for Griffin Mayo to make plays, and he broke on that route, incomplete pass. I mean, they watched the film. He's probably going to want to say had an interception. There would have been a nice path to the end zone, but 2nd and 10 and a good play by the D.
So after the first down incompletion here on 2nd down, it's going to be a run play by number 1. That's Walker for the Kings, and he's going to be escorted out of bounds. And we have an injured player potentially for Bishop Kearney. Number 1, Jemai Walker, was a bit slow to get up after that play.
And it looked like also one of the Cougar defenders, looks like Ryan Gary, well, he kind of was walking a little funny after the play, probably got to come out. He took himself out, but good to see Walker up too, right? Yeah, he's still in the game, so he stayed down a little bit, but really good player for Bishop Kearney.
So here's 3rd and 9 for Bishop Kearney from the gun. Here's Benjamin. He looks, he steps up, tosses it up, and it's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by the Cougars. That's number 3. That's JT Killenbeck.
And Killenbeck almost looked like a center fielder there, Peter, with a sliding catch. Got his hands under the ball, and good pressure. The ball, again, we talked about the overthrown deep ball over the middle, the problems that can cause. JT with a sliding interception, and it'll be the Cougars' ball at the 47-yard line. Turnover number 5 for Bishop Kearney. And
with the Cougars up 24-0, if they can put together another scoring drive here, got to think that could be the put-away score in tonight's matchup.
You totally agree, and it's also following Coach Russ's message of continuous improvement. You'd like to see them have a drive here where they get the tempo, call the shots, mix the run and the pass, and just kind of fine-tune things.
So 1st and 10, we have a quarterback change for the Cougars. That's sophomore Matthew Meacham. He's played a couple snaps here at the varsity level, played for JV this year.
Had a fantastic JV season. Definitely going to be a big-time player for the Cougars coming through. Brody Young's done a good job as a starting quarterback. Great experience for Matt Meacham here, getting some reps in a sectional game, and getting a chance to get this as a foundation, as a building block. And it looks like the Cougars have subbed in at some other positions too.
So Matt Meacham tosses it out, looking for his brother Zach, and that one fell to the turf, but before anything can happen, we have a flag legal procedure going to be called against HFL, so that'll move them back here before we have their second down play.
But we've got Griffin Mayo in on offense. We just called him out for making a good play on defense before. Saw Alexander Steinoff, another sophomore, in at least a play or two ago. So HFL staff with this 24-0 lead, solid defense, getting a look at some of the younger players so that they have that sectional experience, and also the chance for Zach Meacham to show some leadership as a senior and show these younger guys how to do the job.
So Matt Meacham hands off to Zach Meacham, and he'll get right about to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10. You can see just a nice push there by Mitchell Bowling and number 55, Ryan Gary, on the left side of that line.
And for being as much of a power back as he is, Zach Meacham's also a patient runner, and he hasn't played a ton of running back growing up, but you really see him do a nice job on a lot of his runs of letting his blocks get established and then following them and then lowering his shoulder and getting that extra yardage. But patience is a good attribute for a running back to have.
So we have an injury on the field. That's why we have a stoppage in play. It's a injured Bishop Kearney King, who's right about on the midfield logo here. We have trainers from both sides assessing his condition. So the two teams will have a chance to talk things over. Just under about 7.5 minutes to go here at HFL.
And, obviously that's the last thing you want to see, a player down on the field at any time. But, the cold and the rain, it's, just tough situation.
So as we mentioned, it's senior night here at HFL. So we'll just do a quick run through of all of the seniors on this HFL roster. JT Killenbeck, Ben Carson, Cole Chaparino, Casey Wall, Joey Northrup, Aiden Gould, Brody Young, Sean Daler, Xavier Carbonell, Zachary Meacham, Griffin Mayo, Hayden Meehan, Louis Laviani, Charlie Kirby, Mitchell Bowling, Andrew Bavenzi, and Riley Kester. You can see the photos of some of those seniors on our Cigar and Shortino starting lineup. But it was just, last year we were able to be a part of that ceremony, broadcasting it. This year, unfortunately, things just didn't work out. But while we were setting up, we did get to hear some of the stories and the messages. And it's always interesting to hear, what's every player's favorite football memory. And, obviously last spring winning the first ever sectional block for HFL was something we heard often. But, sometimes there was a memory that somebody shared that wasn't related to that game. And it was always interesting to hear, how important this sport is to the gentlemen on the field tonight. As we are back, 3rd and 10 for the Cougars. It's going to be a pass play. Matt Meacham going to loft it up, looking towards the near side, and that's going to be incomplete. He was looking in the vicinity of his older brother, Zach Meacham, so it's going to bring up 4th and 10 for the Cougars, and they will have a punt, and it looks like we're going to have a change at the punter. So rather than the typical Xavier Carbonell, we're going to have number 42, Trent Wagger, come in and try and punt this one away for the Cougars.
And the one thing, Peter, you mentioned the senior night. A lot of the players mentioned time spent in the locker room, not necessarily the memory being of a game or a moment or a championship, but the time they spent together. And you and I both know, your teenage years are a lot of fun, and that time you spend with your friends, you remember it the rest of your life. And as much as you think you have a ton of time there, it goes by fast. And you want high school sports to be about moments and memories, and I'm glad that these guys appreciate those.
So that was a rather short kick there for the Cougars. It went out of bounds at about the 41-yard line, so decent starting field position, as we have, it appears, a quarterback change again for the Kings, as they'll bring Byron Starks back in at QB. That injured player before was number 78, Raquan Pryor, who's been a big playmaker here on the defensive and offensive line for the Kings. So we got to hope that he'll be able to be back in this one for Bishop Kearney.
Yeah, I don't see him out there on this series right now. He was a player that Coach Gauze talked a lot about. He has the potential to play college football. He has the size, and he has the talent, and he has the demeanor. And, we mentioned before, Coach Gauze is the father of Quentin and JoJo Gauze. Those are two young men that were star players at Bishop Kearney and are now playing actually indoor football professionally. Quentin is with the Massachusetts Pirates of the Professional Indoor Football League, and JoJo is with the South Dakota Storm. So when Rick Gauze tells you somebody's a good player, he knows a good player.
So here's a pass play from Benjamin, and that's going to fall incomplete. Funny story about Quentin and JoJo. Coach Gauze was telling us that they were one game away from playing against each other, which would have been certainly a fun experience for the whole Gauze family. And speaking of the Gauze family, we heard all about the Gauze family's restaurant, Mr. G's Steakhouse, which is located currently in Atlanta, although it sounds like there's some talk about potential expansion into Western New York here. And
Rick was very, very proud of that. The restaurant opened on Tuesday. He grew up. He's the oldest of 8 children. His parents were Al and Francis Gauze, and they owned a restaurant in Rochester called G&G Steakout. So a lot of people know the Gauze family, and they serve gourmet steak sandwiches. And Peter, you looked online, and they look pretty good. And look at that, 71 in there making a play. Is that Jacob? No, that's the 71 is Owen Englert.
Yeah, Owen Englert makes the tackle for a loss in the backfield. So it'll force 4th and we'll call it 12 here for the Kings as they are forced to punt.
And HFL giving some guys a chance. You see Owen running off the field now. Got to feel good to get in that sectional game. You haven't played a lot of varsity football. Get in there, make a play, and help your team. Get the do positive things. Ultimate team game, right?
Certainly, as we have a punt here for the Kings, and it's up and away, and takes a couple bounces, and initially touched by Walker at about the 38-yard line, so that's where the Cougars will start with the ball, and I expect we'll see Matthew Meacham for the remainder of this one. Now that the JV season's over, he doesn't need to worry about the snap count, so we'll see him for the remainder of the game, and of course, he's only a sophomore, so the expectation is he'll be here with the Cougars for a couple seasons.
It is, and Matt's done a lot of things to improve as a quarterback. He takes it seriously, loves football, works hard at the game, and I think is really eager to be a contributor and a big part of this program moving forward.
So 1st and 10 for HFL. Waiting on the officials here to... Looks like HFL might be short a player. And JT Killenbeck is going to come in and play some slot receiver.
So we saw Ryan Gary standing up and telling the bench to get a play in. So very good awareness as Zach Meacham powers forward for about 6 yards. But good job there by the Cougars, kind of noticing that they were a man short and not running into a bad play, taking the time.
Yeah, nice first down run there by Zach Meacham. And as you were saying, some of the issues that come about when you start subbing guys in, where you typically have the issues, is when you got a punt or you have a punt return and you had a guy that was subbed in there and you aren't normally in on special teams, so the starter's got to come back in, maybe a PAT as well. So, just some of the stuff that you're not always practicing. That as we have an official timeout, looks like they want to
try football, maybe.
Not quite sure. They're motioning the new ball in, and
hope they're not reprimanding the young man. He's been working hard all night. There it is. It's the ball boy's birthday. What's his name? Mick Finn, the ball boy we're hearing, and happy birthday. What is he, about 12?
11.
He's 11, and he's doing a great job tonight. He's earning it, too. He's earning that birthday cake.
So here we go on 2nd and 4. Nice tough running there by Zach Meacham. That'll be a first down for the Cougars, brought to you by Honey and Falls Marketplace Grocery. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today.
And I think nice trap play there. Zach Meacham kind of has a lane, goes up there, and it takes, surprise, 2 Kearney guys to bring him down. Doing a good job all season. The sledding's been a little tough for Zach tonight, but I think he's been patient and is finding his rhythm, and I think he understands that the biggest thing is to earn the right to practice next week and play again next Friday night.
So here's a handoff to number 7 for HFL. He's up and got first down yardage. This is Connor Finn, running back for the Cougars. He is a sophomore, pulled up from JV.
Nice gain, too. The holes right there, the Kearney line did get penetration, but Connor Finn found a gap and made his way downfield for about probably a 17-yard gain.
That first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Order your groceries online for curbside pickup today. Saw the awareness there by Finn to get 2 hands on the ball before contact. Knows that ball's a little slippery tonight, so got to be extra careful. Cougars now inside the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
And right now, I think for HFL, the most important thing is, as you mentioned, ball security and keeping the clock running. Keep the chains moving, the clock running, and pretty soon they'll be in position to celebrate a nice victory. There's Finn again, nice cut. He might go, Peter.
And Connor Finn to the house. Touchdown, HFL.
Beautiful run. And, wow, he's Connor Finn, probably his first carry, maybe second varsity carry. He's in the end zone. Freshman. He's a freshman. And look at that, Peter. The cut right there at the 30-yard line, breaks it outside, and runs away from the defense. When he got to about the 20, I know we were talking. I said he might go, and there was no doubt about it. So roster's wrong. He's a freshman, and it might be his brother's birthday, but he's got something to remember tonight too.
So Cougars now up 30-0 as Connor Finn finds the Meehan Architecture end zone, and we'll have a point after attempt. Looks like it's going to be number 2, Donnell Hall. So he'll get a chance here for a PAT attempt.
We know he's got good moves. Does he have a good leg?
And it's up. Line drive kick. And it's good. Ben Carson struggled a second there on the snap, but he was able to recover, and Donnell Hall did the rest. So Cougars up 31-0 here. Quarterfinal game in the Class B playoff tournament as we take another look here at that touchdown run.
And look at the excitement for Connor Finn, too. All the guys running down there knowing it's his first varsity touchdown, and just a moment of pride there, something that, we were talking about moments and making plays. That's one that Connor will remember, probably tell, his kids about someday if he has them.
So this kickoff brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form.
So, HFL has done exactly what it needed to do. Once they steadied the ship, I think that if we're going to look for turning points in this game, Peter, it's that interception by Aiden Gould at the end of the first quarter. Set HFL up in plus territory. They end up converting on that drive. And since that point, they have really established themselves as the team tonight.
And here's the kick. End over end. Takes a couple bounces. Finally fielded there by the Kings. That's TJ Moorhead, who will get up about to the 40-yard line. So we'll probably continue to see HFL cycle some guys in at defense.
Yep. And, that in-between kickoff has been effective for HFL. Nice return by Moorhead. Runs through a couple of tacklers, showing some determination. And if we take a closer look at this Kearney team, Coach Gauze knows it's bigger than just this season. He told us, I'm trying to teach these guys life lessons and to hang in there and not give up. And I think the guys that are out there on the field representing these 3 schools are doing that. And another good thing is 78 Raekwon Pryor appears to be back in the game. So a player like that, it's good to see that he's still able to go after that injury.
And here's Walker, Jemai Walker, able to shed one tackler. He's up past the HFL 45-yard line. So that'll be a first down for the Kings. They find themselves now operating in HFL territory. Haven't been there too often tonight.
No, and a nice run. Walker, one of the top players on the Bishop Kearney Rochester Academy Charter School, Rochester Prep team, and he's going to play hard till the final whistle. We know that.
So Walker gets the handoff again, running to the left. And it looks like that might be enough for another Bishop Kearney first down. Yep, they're moving the chains. So another first down run by Jemai Walker.
And you look at the blocking up front. Pryor was there with a nice block also by number 70, Malquan Powers. So HFL or Bishop Kearney with a decided size advantage up front. I would look probably for them, especially with this rain, to keep building on the success and try to run the ball down the field.
So 1st and 10 for Kearney. Here's Benjamin throwing it up, and his receiver fell to the turf. And that's going to be incomplete. Look in the vicinity of number 2 for the Kings. That's Markel Reed.
Markel Reed has made a couple of nice plays tonight. My eye on that play was trained on Griffin Mayo. It seems like he's been around the ball quite a bit, and that again the ball that hangs up over the middle. If there's another one, Griffin Mayo's had a couple of chances at one. He might get that interception if we see another pass like that.
So 2nd and 10 for Bishop Kearney from the shotgun. Benjamin's going to hand off to Jemai Walker, and he's going to be cut down at the 30-yard line.
And that's 71 again for HFL. Owen Englert stood up there. Defense kind of bent a little bit, but stepped in the hole, made a tackle, made a play.
You saw Ryan Gary there reacting to the nice play there by his younger teammate. Always interesting to see the older guys, get a break and able to cheer on their younger counterparts. As we have 3rd and 10 here for the Kings, and the ball is on the turf. It bounces right back into Benjamin's hands. He's able to complete it to Harris, and Harris is going to be dropped nearly immediately by Griffin Mayo.
And give Benjamin credit for hanging in there, right? The ball's slippery, he drops it, takes a couple of steps, and in the beginning I wondered why he was throwing it, but that Harris was there and able to catch it, and basically it's the same as an incomplete pass. They didn't gain any yardage, but it showed that they played it through to the whistle, and you want to see that.
So we're now under a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. So we expect to have at least one more play here, although if Bishop Kearney's unable to convert this, 4th and 10, it'll stop the clock. Seems to be waiting for a play called from the sideline, and Kearney's going to have to take a timeout.
And so that's 33 seconds left, 32.9. I know we've been giving credit to the HFL defense tonight, but one area in particular we haven't seen Kearney succeed with that slant. And I was looking out at the field. I had my eye on 13, Jalen Duval, because he was a player that stood out the first time these two teams played. And the HFL defense has done a good job kind of minimizing him tonight.
Yeah, I think they did have one on their first possession of the night. They did have one. I don't know if I'd say it was a slant. It was more of a deeper post route that was open. But since that, Kearney really hasn't had too much success throwing the ball.
And you hear Coach Russ when we talk to him use the term coaching guys up, right? And, I know that they looked at the film from the last game and they were going to probably pinpoint 3 or 4 areas that, where they thought that they could have done a better job the first time and focus on them. And taking that slant away was one, and they've HFL's been successful.
So on 4th down, that's going to be an incomplete pass. That was actually Rashawn Beeson, number 12, who had checked in at quarterback, and his pass falls short. We'll take another quick look at that. He was looking out towards number 2. That's Markel Reed.
And these conditions, too, it's very difficult to throw the ball. And coming in into the 3rd quarter, I don't know how loose or how much time Beeson had to warm up. That's a big ask. And the ball just kind of fluttered a little bit, fell to the turf, and now HFL will get it late in the third quarter. And I think, as much as we would love to see Matt Meacham throw the ball, I think that it'll probably be a heavy dose of the run game too.
Certainly. So with 27 seconds to go here in the third quarter, Cougars get the ball at about their own 30-yard line. Matt Meacham from the shotgun. He's going to hand off to Finn, and he's going to be met by a pair of Kings in the backfield. And I got to expect that's going to be the last play of this third quarter. HFL leading 31-0. They'll just let this clock keep rolling. Yep, so we are going to go to the fourth quarter. HFL leading 31-0. We'll take a brief commercial timeout.
Every workplace injury is different, but what comes next is always the same. Questions, paperwork, and stress. Seeger and Shortino will help you handle all of it, just like we've helped thousands of injured workers over the last 30 years. We look at your case from every angle: workers' comp, personal injury, and Social Security disability. And we handle them all under one roof, so you have one number to call, one voice speaking for you to get all the benefits you deserve.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Love the convenience of curbside pickup, but fear unpacking your groceries. The beauty of having experienced grocery people picking up your orders is getting exactly what you want. So leave the shopping to your friends at Honeoye Falls Marketplace Grocery. Lose the frustration of inaccurate orders and keep the convenience of having your groceries ready for drive-through pickup at Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Made from scratch baked goods to hand-cut meat, vegan, and everything in between. Getting started is easy at HoneoyeFallsMarketplace.com. Bodywork Needed, a well-known business here in the community. Bodywork Needed is run by licensed massage therapist Pamela Scully. Situated at the Four Corners in Honeoye Falls, the massage therapists at Bodywork Needed pride themselves on a uniquely personalized experience. They listen to your needs, assess your condition, and deliver therapies to treat your immediate and root cause of pain. Whether you need stress relief, serious pain relief, or ongoing treatment, Bodywork Needed is the place for you. For those interested in continuing or beginning their journey to health and well-being, should give her a call at 802-2405. And last but not least, Meehan Architecture, your local architect. Rob has asked us, rather than to read an ad, to talk sports, or to talk HFL football, and we'll talk HFL football as we have the start of the fourth quarter here. Cougars with the ball. 3rd and 20, and here's Meacham. He's going to loft it up, looking in the direction of his running back, Connor Finn, and that's going to fall incomplete, so Cougars are going to have to punt the ball here.
Yeah, Peter, the obviously second team offense in for HFL. Connor Finn, first couple times he touched the ball, had huge holes to run through. That time, Kearney defense stopped him on the first couple of carries, and timing was a little off on the screen pass, so we'll see maybe HFL punt. I guess this would be the third time. We saw him punt a couple times in the first quarter. After that, the offense has scored on 5 drives, but we'll see what could happen in the rain here.
And here's Trent Wagger, spiraling kick. Going to take a nice HFL bounce inside the Kearney 45 and take a halt at about the 44-yard line. So the Kings will have the ball back inside their own territory, beginning of the fourth quarter here. Just about a minute has passed by. So a rather quick 3-and-out by the Cougars allows the Kings to maybe try and get some points here on the board.
And I think that's what it is for Bishop Kearney, right? Coach Gauze talked about when he watches film, he watches it meticulously. He sometimes watches the same play, he said, 50 times, and he slows it down. And I think here it's one play at a time, and just looking to build the confidence and build the work ethic of his team. As a lot of young players coming from different schools, and it looks like Starks will be back in at quarterback. So it looks like he's also kind of moving that around to see if something will click.
So Jemai Walker to Starks' left as we have TJ Moorhead in motion. It's going to be a quarterback keep for Starks. Starks reverses field, goes to the far side. He's still on his feet and eventually dropped at about the 45-yard line. So he had gotten all the way up to midfield, but then reversed his forward progress and ended up only getting to the Bishop Kearney 45. So he had gained 6 and then worked his way back to only a gain of 1.
And kind of ran into Andrew Bavenzi there. Andrew, one of the seniors that was honored before the game. I believe he might be a wrestler, and he got low, got the leg takedown there.
So 2nd and 9 for Kearney.
I know at least wrestling is in his family. His dad, Jason, has been a long time wrestling coach. You can hear the rain, can't you? Right on top of the press box. We haven't heard that before.
So here's the 2nd down pass attempt, and it was
that was Benjamin back in. So I don't know if they're going quarterback by play or quarterback by series, but
and that was Jalen Duval, the intended receiver.
And it was a slant route. It just wasn't able to connect.
Yeah, it's just real tough playing conditions for both these teams, and certainly throwing a waterlogged ball cannot be an easy job for anybody. So 3rd and 9 now for Bishop Kearney. And it's going to be a pass play out towards the far side and in and out of the hands of Jemai Walker. He's frustrated.
Right. And that's really the first visible sign of frustration that we've seen. The inability to complete. As Marv Levy used to say, football is simple, but it's not easy. And that's a great example there, because that's a simple play, but it's not easy to execute.
So it looks like Kearney's going to punt the ball away here. Number 10, Byron Starks, with his heels at about the 32-yard line. He'll look to punt this one deep into HFL territory at about the 10-minute mark here of this 4th quarter. Ball is away, spiraling kick, and the Cougars are going to let this one roll. And it's going to be touched by the Kings just inside the 10-yard line. So Cougars will get the ball. They ultimately spot it at the
12?
Looks like the 19, as they switch out the Bishop Kearney kicking ball with the HFL offensive ball.
And if you're HFL, right, just stay away from the ball. Don't take any unnecessary risks at this point. The clock is your friend. Just simple plays, execution, and keep the ball going in a positive direction.
And Meacham able to bring in the high snap, hand it off to Finn. He was immediately dropped in the backfield. So HFL 2s and 3s seem like struggling a bit against this Kearney front 4.
But that's okay at this point. You're looking to get people experience, and sometimes the game speed. Learn what it takes to become a productive varsity player, and I think what we're seeing too is the importance of winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. When Connor Finn had room to run, he ran away from the defense. When there's not a lot of room, you get swallowed up, and that's football.
And for a lot of these guys, this is also getting some film to look at. And we had a chat with Coach Russ earlier this week, and he stressed the importance of watching film. And we had mentioned they skipped out on practicing out in the elements on Tuesday and instead took it as a film day, seeing that it would be more productive. And when they watch film, they don't necessarily watch it as a whole team. Something that I was a bit surprised about, how they actually go by position group, and each coach can bring in the offensive linemen, the running backs, and kind of break down film specific to that position group, which you got to think is especially beneficial, because when you watch as a whole team, there's only a couple things that you can talk about per play, whereas having all the offensive linemen in the same room, and especially the young guys being able to hear that coaching and knowledge is a huge benefit. As here's Finn again on 3rd down.
And the other part of that, Peter, too, is that you watch film differently. If you're an individual player or you're with the team, you might be looking for the big plays and the things that you did. You're almost watching a highlight reel. When you're watching it with a smaller group, you're watching it for execution and learning opportunities and correct things that can be corrected. And that was just really interesting insight. And I don't think that's you didn't play that long ago, and that's kind of somehow how the thinking involving football has evolved, and that's the individual teaching and coaching that this staff talks about.
Yeah, certainly it was highlight, but also low light. You definitely didn't want to be the guy, and on Monday afternoon getting called out on during the film session in front of all of your peers, as we have a kick here that's going to take a very favorable Kearney bounce out of bounds at the 14-yard line. So,
and I think Wager was lucky to get that away, and there may have been a deflection there by the Kearney rush. Kearney did get good rush on the punter there, and as we were talking about the film, Raekwon Pryor was back in for Kearney, and he made a couple big plays in the backfield, and he's back out there, and that's what you'll see on film too, is a player like Pryor will really stand out against other players that just can't physically match up with him right here, and he's doing what he should do. He was really controlling the line of scrimmage there.
So the HFL defense with a tall task in front of them, pinned back inside their own territory. We have a run play first touchdown. That's Jemai Walker. He's going to score for the Kings, and there goes the goose egg for Bishop Kearney, their first time finding the end zone. So that makes the score 31 HFL, Bishop Kearney 6.
And Walker, nice hole, cuts behind number 75, cuts it back upfield, and just drives his legs towards the end zone. And a good moment for Walker. He was frustrated on the last drive when they couldn't execute the screen pass. Executed there, got into the end zone.
And I think the key word there is ball carrier vision. I mean, he was able to hesitate and eventually find that seam and run through it, as we have a PAT attempt for number 8, and it's going to be muffed and falls to the turf. That was number 10 on the hold, Byron Starks. And
yeah, it looked like Starks made a good play to get up with the ball and try and make something happen. Really looked like they were ad-libbing a little bit, that you yell fire or something when that happens to try and let your teammates know. But
another look here at the touchdown. You can just see the patience and waiting for that lane to open up, and as soon as it was there, he took it and found the end zone.
Did a nice job planning and cutting, and then lowering his shoulders. He got closer to the end zone. Walker we mentioned that he had that injury that cost him all but one game in the spring. So for him to come back 6 months later and be scoring touchdowns, you're happy for that guy.
This kickoff brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form. So Bishop Kearney kicking off. Just about 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe some trickery here on this kick. Maybe try and generate
an extra possession.
Certainly.
Different kicker, right? Number 8. I don't think he's been kicking all night, and that's Trevor Bonin.
And he is just going to lightly tap it, and it's immediately fielded by HFL. That's number 32, Andrew Wazenreed. Makes a smart play, just cover it up. So the Cougar offense, you can see that thing skip across the carpet.
Take a knee, take the ball, avoid getting hit. That's the 3 good things there if you're Andrew Wazenreed.
Now you talked about JT Killenbeck playing center field. That was more like Andrew Wazenreed playing shortstop, just fielding that thing and making sure to possess it and get down. And Cougars now will have a chance to continue to try and wind this clock down even further as they lead 31-0 over Bishop Kearney. They are, of course, the 1 seed here in the Section 5 Class B sectional tournament. Assuming this score holds with 7:06 to go, they will be playing the winner of Dansville, Wayland, Cohocton, and Pal Mac. And with HFL being the 1 seed, they will be the higher seed and have home field advantage here in the semifinal round.
And a nice carry by Landon Hammond there. The Cougars out near midfield. I believe that's first time he's carried tonight. And you talk about HFL and having the home game next week. They haven't lost a home game since 2017. And, you've got the turf. You don't have to worry about, you deal with the weather and those conditions. But, this is a great place to play football. You're at home. You're comfortable. And there's a lot of pride. They might not go around telling everybody, but they really like to defend their own house.
We mentioned that first seed. That's second consecutive season with the number 1 seed in the playoffs, which I believe up until last April, school never had it before in sectional history. So back-to-back number 1 seeds, and certainly, they graduated 20-plus seniors last year, so it's not the same cast of characters this year that are getting it done. So just speaks volumes to, the depth, and, Coach Russ told us that they have really healthy numbers all the way down to modified. And it's just a product of the success that they've had. He was joking. He's a PE teacher in the Manor School, the elementary school here at HFL, and he wears his HFL football gear to work. And certainly the kids seeing him wearing that and knowing the success that HFL has, they want to be a part of that.
They sure do.
And it's been a culture shift all the way from varsity down to middle school with modified, as we have a hard hit there.
Yeah, that was Jarrell Dorsey, number 50, broke through the line, met Landon Hammond soon after he got the ball. That might be your welcome to varsity football moment there for Landon. And I think the word where you're talking, Peter, that comes to mind is pride. And the pride that has been instilled in this program. Coach Russ talks about culture and how they've established a culture of expectations. And, this class of 17 seniors that's being honored tonight, it's a real tribute to them, because the seniors from the spring season were big-time contributors, and the seniors in the class of 2022 want to uphold that legacy. And I thought that knee was down there, letting that play continue with a punt, but there's a flag, so it may not matter. But a real tribute to the seniors for having a lot of pride and carrying this on and, raising the bar. 2019 was the first time HFL ever reached the finals. Spring was the first time they were number 1 seed. The first time they won the Section 5 football championship. Here we are 6 months later in November, and we're talking about it like it's another thing, and that, it's doing your job every day,
the
getting better.
Referees wave the flag off there, so the punt will stand.
And, it's just really, a lot of people talk about it being more difficult to sustain success than attain success. But HFL, and I'm not going to say they've made it look easy this season, because they've had to work very hard. Those 2 wins over Batavia and Wayne, in particular, very impressive. But they've set a standard that is going to be, in place for a long time to come, I think.
And it was interesting that a message that we've heard from everyone on this HFL team is that they want to go and win another sectional block, but they don't want to do it for themselves. They don't need to prove it to anybody, but they actually want to do it for last year's graduating class to make sure that this thing that started, probably even, like you mentioned, 2019 was the first final that they were in, that's been going for a couple years. They want to keep that thing sustainable.
And, it almost, you can make a reference to the Tampa Bay Lightning, because they won their Stanley Cup, not their first ever, but they won the Stanley Cup in a bubble. And then they won it after a somewhat normal season last year. I think that this group, you want to win it in the fall. You want to win it in November. It was great to win it on May. And that trophy's not going back, and those championship shirts are going to be worn with a lot of pride. But to do it this way, there'd be a great feeling in town, too.
So 2nd and 3 here for the Kings. Ball at about the 33-yard line. Number 7, that's Moorhead, the man in motion. Ball's on the turf. And the quarterback, number 12, Rashawn Beeson, able to pick it up, and he was dropped by a plethora of HFL defenders.
I think we're going to see number 70, Giovanni Deanna, and number 71, Owen Englert, at the bottom of that pile. Peter, those are both sophomores, 5'10", 175, kind of fit the model of being an HFL lineman. Not the biggest guys, but really determined, hard workers, and getting in there and getting a big play on varsity.
So just over 3 minutes to go here in the 4th. We have a 3rd and 10. And some more miscommunication. That's going to be a fumble recovery there by the Cougars. That's number 51, Louis Laviani. He had the safety against Bishop Kearney in the waning minutes of the last time these two teams met. Now he's got a fumble recovery in the waning minutes of...
Yeah, this one. It looks like he ran a little stunt, and as he was coming into the backfield, lo and behold, the ball was there, and Louis just pounced on it. And he had a great celebration on that safety, but that fumble recovery looked like it was old hat there for Louis. And another one of those 17 seniors. He's a offensive lineman, defensive lineman, 6 feet, 185 pounds. And, fumble recoveries, they don't grow on trees, dude. Anytime you come away with the ball and you're a defensive lineman, you're a happy guy.
Yeah, I was kind of a little bit surprised by his reaction. I don't know if he was saying, man, I should have picked it up and tried to run with it, or what. But in any case, 1st and 10 here for this HFL offense. Going to be a handoff to Finn, and he's going to be tackled at about the 24-yard line. So he'll pick up a yard or two.
Kobe Covington there makes the play. It looked like Finn might have had something as he got to the second level. I'm not necessarily thinking he would have broken it all the way, but he would have maybe gotten first down yardage, and Covington came up with a big play there for the Kings.
So they actually mark it as a no gain, so it'll be 2nd and 10. About 2.5 minutes here to go in the fourth quarter. HFL leading 31-6.
In the rain, it hasn't stopped, Peter. And I don't think it's gonna, right?
Not until we're probably home and everything's packed up and put away, and that's how it goes. So
that's on the
ball is on the turf, and HFL looks like they were able to recover that one. Number 44 for the Cougars.
That's Landon Hammond. So good reaction there by the running back to see the ball not coming through cleanly and making an adjustment just to pounce on it and keep possession.
But that's okay for HFL because the clock continues to roll here as we're now under 2. So we've mentioned a bit, Section 5 Class B sectional tournament. This is a quarterfinal game. So HFL going to go on to win this one, and they're going to host the winner of Palmac and Dansville, Wayland Cohocton. So that will be a home HFL semifinal game. Our hope here at the Sentinel will be to broadcast that game. We'll know probably Monday or Tuesday of next week, as we have a pass that's just lofted up in the direction of number 8. That's Casey Wall. It falls incomplete. It stops the clock. Our hope here at the Sentinel is to carry that game live on YouTube and Facebook as always. Given the way things work at Section 5, we'll have to make sure that we are able to acquire the rights from Charter Spectrum, who owns them. But assuming that everything goes to plan, we'll be able to carry that game for you live here at HFL next week. Time and date to be determined.
And, it's just always a privilege to do that, too. Brian Donahue and the HFL staff so welcoming to us and made adjustments tonight, right? Because it wasn't what anybody thought it would be, and we made the best of the situation and to bring it home. And we know that folks in the community love being able to watch the Cougars and the opposing teams. And sectional football gets exciting. Every game will get a little bit tougher, and we hope it works out because it's a lot of fun for you and I and our crew to do this.
So we have an injured player here on the field. That's what's the stoppage here with about 1:23 to go in the fourth quarter. So do we have a Palmac score update, or?
I've got a Palmac girls soccer score. They're winning 2-0, but nothing on the Palmac football team on that feed. I'm gonna try maybe Waco to get a feel of where that might be going, because that's a 4-5 game. I really thought that as that came out, it could go either way. Maybe I would make Wayland Cohocton Dansville the favorite going in, but not quite sure at where that is in terms of.
So the injured player number 4 for Bishop Kearney, that's Zuri Johnson. He's able to walk off the field under his own power. So we're going to have a field goal attempt here. The hold is going to be from the 35-yard line at about the left hash. So this is going to be a 45-yard field goal attempt for Xavier Carbonell.
So he's made one from 33, Peter. This would take a lot of leg. This looked like Kearney jumped.
So he does not have nearly the leg on that one. No flags thrown. So probably does not have any sort of weather advantage. Believe it or not, I was actually on the team for the longest field goal in HFL history. I don't know what the yardage is off the top of my head. 46. I believe it was Billy Pluta who kicked it at Fairport, if I remember correctly. So shout out Billy Pluta. Kickers are players too.
For sure.
Although if I remember correctly, there may or may not be an asterisk next to that record because it was an exhibition game. In any case, Bishop Kearney has the ball back with 1:15. They trail 6-31. We'll see if they can end on a high note here with a handoff to Walker. Walker to the far side. He'll work the sideline, still up on his feet, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. 40-yard line, we'll call it. So big first down run there for the Kings as they try and make a last-minute push here.
Try and get in the end zone again. Nice block there by 78, Raekwon Pryor. He's been making plays for Bishop Kearney all night. Walker's been steady for them. I think that when you look at the Kings, they have some good players, but just maybe not quite enough. And the Cougars' balance tonight was a little bit too much, and the turnovers. You can't turn the ball over 5 times against a team the quality of HFL and stay in the ball game.
So under a minute to go here at HFL. Here's a handoff to Walker again. He's got some blocking, and now it's a foot race. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's got to beat one man, and he does, and he's going to score.
Wow, what a run. What a burst by Walker. Probably 55-yard run, and we've talked about his heart and determination all night long. So there we go. That's a 60-yard touchdown run. Breaks a tackle there, gets to the 50, cuts it back, and then he just pulls away. It looked like maybe
Sean Daler was in a foot race with Walker, and he dove, and he couldn't quite get there. So Bishop Kearney able to score here in the last minute of play here at HFL. Score now 12-31.
And then they have the 2-point. They'll go for 2. They've got Benjamin in at quarterback, and Coach Gauze did tell us his team would play till the final whistle. They weren't going to come in here and lie down, and they certainly didn't. And a guy like Walker got a chance to make a couple plays. And
here's Walker on the 2-point conversion, bounces it outside, and he's going to be ripped down from behind. That was, I believe, number 60-something.
65. I thought it was Aaron Fasek.
Let's take another look there, see if we can catch a number. That number 65, who is Aaron Fasek. Yep.
65 up top and 43 Wyatt Huff down low. Andrew Pavenzi with a little bit of penetration in there too. So the conversion try is denied.
So the score now 31 Cougars, Kings 12. We'll have a kickoff here brought to you by Bodywork Needed. Bodywork Needed is situated in the quaint village of Honeoye Falls. You can experience lasting relief from chronic and acute pain under the guidance of the licensed experts at Bodywork Needed. Call them today at 802-2405 or use their online contact form. So we'll see probably another attempted onside kick here by the Kings, trying to keep this one going.
Yeah, I think so. Why not? 33 seconds. Make the HFL return team field the ball cleanly, earn the right to possess it, and then probably come out and watch Matt Meacham take a knee. Unless, of course, Kearney recovers it and tries to inch a little bit closer.
So here's the kick, and it's going to be fielded by number 7 for the Cougars. That's Connor Finn, the running back. So would expect the Cougars to probably just take a knee here to end it. They lead 31-12 over the Bishop Kearney Kings here in the quarterfinal round of the Section 5 Class B playoffs. Again, we've stated already, they will play the winner of Palmac and Dansville-Waco next week. Time and date to be determined. Hope would be the Sentinel to carry that game live on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to check out our social media and website for updates on that. Our expectation would be to be able to announce that on Tuesday or Wednesday, as we have a knee here by Matt Meacham, and that's going to do it. So HFL going to knock off Bishop Kearney in the quarterfinal round. Final score 31-12. Now, Luke, if we could roll the highlights here from the game here. And Steve, you want to give us a quick recap of what we saw tonight in this 31-12 victory of the Cougars over the Kings?
Sure. It took HFL a little bit of time to get going. First quarter kind of slugged it out. It took a little bit of time to figure it out. And then early second quarter, Donnell Hall, 8 yards out, runs wide, makes a couple of moves, carries it into the end zone, put the Cougars up 6-0. Xavier Carbonell with the kick, 7-0. And then here we go, Brody Young, the run-pass option, 12 yards away, makes a move at the line, gets to the 5. And his determination carries him into the end zone. Xavier Carbonell, 33-yard field goal, clears the bar, splashes down on the track, 17-0 Cougars at the half. This almost looks like the first half just a little further out. It's Donnell Hall again from 12 yards, 9:38 left in the third quarter. Makes it 24-0 Cougars after the kick. And from that point on, Peter, I think everybody felt secure in the outcome. And then this, maybe the run of the night. Connor Finn, freshman, up from JV, makes a move, turns on the burners, gets to the 20, made his dad happy, made his brother the ball boy happy, made all Cougar fans happy. And then we've got Jemai Walker from Bishop Kearney, 12-yard run. Walker, very determined player on the field almost every play, offense, defense, special teams, 31-6. And then here in the final minute, Walker again, a 60-yard run, basically kind of weaved his way through the Cougar defense, got to the 20-yard line, used his speed to finish, and the Kings end the season with a highlight play run of 60 yards for Jemai Walker. So 31-12, Peter. Your takeaways, did it go about what you thought? How did you feel? Now we had a minute or two to reflect on it.
I think HFL started a little slow as we see them meet with the faithful here who have showed up. Started a little bit slow, but once they got going, and they were hard to stop. So, Coach Rush should be very proud of these guys. I think they played a really good ball game and certainly some room for improvement, and they're going to go back and watch this one on Monday, and then it's on to the next one.
Yep.
So we hope to carry that next one. HFL will be hosting either Palmac or Dansville, Wigland, Cohocton. So be sure to tune in or rather check online to see whether or not we'll be carrying that game live. Time and date to be determined sometime Friday or Saturday next week. Final here, 31-12. Special thanks to our crew tonight. Luke Mendrick operating the replay system and computer. Oliver Hansen, our scoreboard operator, and camera work done by Chris Carosa. Any closing thoughts, Steve, before we sign off?
I think you hit on it pretty well. Cougars moved to 8-0. Semifinals, that's where they wanted to be at the beginning of the week. You mentioned there's some areas to tidy up, and I think the conditions maybe impacted the way that they started tonight. And there's only 4 teams playing next week, and they're one of them. You got to be happy about that.
So with that, that'll do it for us. Final score 31-12. Number 1 seed HFL Cougars over the visiting 8th seed Bishop Kearney Kings. Until next time, I'm Peter Carosa, as always, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Thanks for tuning in to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel.